it the Uniparty. Is there going to be corruption in it? Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Open your eyes. I call it the Uniparty. Is there going to be corruption in it? Absolutely. The experts say that there's corruption in these machines? Absolutely. The Democrats, they never asked me for evidence. Why? These computers. Haven't you watched the news? Open your eyes. Get rid of the computers. You're not a conspiracy theorist. Of course you're not. Why? Why don't you ask Fox News? Preach all the time. You're full of crapola. Haven't you watched the news? Do you think I'm spending all my money? I want to save your country. I'd spend $40 million. I'm the American dream on steroids. I'm the American dream on steroids. I was an ex-crack addict. I didn't change. Why don't you talk about me? Absolutely. Over and over and over again. This isn't about Donald Trump. Over and over and over again. This isn't about Donald Trump. Over and over and over again. Why don't you talk about me? I've spent every dime I've had in this world. Open your eyes.
What is up, everybody? Really quickly, can you hear me through this mic? I just want to make sure. My first live stream out of my setup. Biden has officially dropped out. It is real. Okay, cool. You can hear me. He is speaking to the nation later this week. All right, let's break this all down. President Joe Biden, this is according to the Associated Press. So a lot of people in chat were doubting it, but this is real. It's according to the Associated Press. Sorry, give me 1 second. According to the Associated Press, President Joe Biden has dropped out of the 2024 race for the White House on Sunday, ending his bid for re-election following a disastrous debate with Donald Trump that raised doubts about his fitness for office just 4 months before the election. The decision comes after escalating pressure from Biden's Democratic allies to step aside following the June 27th debate, in which the 81-year-old president trailed off, often gave nonsensical answers, and failed to call out the former president during his many falsehoods. President Joe Biden released a statement on Twitter. It says, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans." So this is good. He's already on message. He's saying that he has had a historic first term, and people should not forget that. At least he's using this platform, using this message to show his accomplishments. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. True. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. This is true. And honestly, I think that Kamala is going to be the de facto nominee, and that's why he's pushing his legislative accomplishments so much. He's pushing these accomplishments. What do you guys think in chat? Just let me know. Was this a mistake? Do you agree? Also, leave a like on the stream. Leave a like on the stream. Let me start this Q&A. Biden's message continues, or let me start this poll. Biden's message continues. Huge mistake, bad move. You think this should have happened? Big mistake, somebody said. Not a mistake. Some people think this improves our chances. Okay, let's keep reading this, and then I'll go over everything. Biden wrote, I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Really quickly, I think it might be a good idea to take some notes on the pros, the cons. Biden drops out. Oops. Biden will remain president, but is bowing out of the 2024 presidential race. We are going to break everything down in a clean notes document. It's going to be good. You guys are going to help me. You guys are going to throw some stuff at me so we can figure out the pros and the cons. But first, let's finish reading this message. Biden said, I'm going to read this part because this is just wild. This is huge. Biden said, I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We protected and preserved our democracy. We did successfully do that for the first term. And we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of the country and my party for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith you have and trust you have placed in me. Somebody in chat said bad move. Somebody said I think it's a good move. It will be Kamala. It will be Kamala. Go join the Mockler subreddit where there's breaking news. This news broke on my subreddit. We have a lot of memes there. Link is in chat. Link is in chat. It has been the greatest. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have. There is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are in the United States of America. No, Reddit is not news. I'm saying that it broke on my Reddit. Somebody posted the AP article right away. That's how I learned about it. I'm not saying that Reddit is in news. Okay. White House doctor Kevin O'Connor has acknowledged making a mistake when he said the COVID-19 strain that infected Biden is responsible for a third of new cases. Okay, this is a separate story, but a lot of breaking news. Let's go see how Twitter is reacting really quickly. People on Twitter were saying that this could cement Biden as the most pro-democracy president because he understood. He understood. So my Twitter feed right now. And by the way, I can't control what pops up in my Twitter feed sometimes, so there may be like memes or something that I don't know about. So people are already saying Harris x Shapiro. That's the ticket. What do you guys think about Harris and Shapiro? That might cement Pennsylvania. If Shapiro, Harris Whitmer, someone says. Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado, already said coconut. You guys don't like Shapiro? Gavin Newsom released a statement. One more time. I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed, so I don't know what's going to pop up. I don't know. Gavin Newsom said, President Biden has been an extraordinary, history-making president, a leader who has fought hard for working people and delivered astonishing results for all Americans. He will go down in history as one of the most impactful and selfless presidents. People in chat are saying, Harris Porter, Stacey Abrams, Buttigieg, I agree. I like Buttigieg. Adam Mockler is the Democratic nominee. That'd be fun. Yeah. If Kinzinger is the president. Harris and Kelly, Mark Kelly. I agree. That's a good one. Harris and Sanders. No. Why would we use Bernie Sanders, who is older than President Joe Biden? I don't agree with Bernie. No, I love Bernie as a politician, but I don't think Bernie would be a good nominee. All right, let's keep going. Caitlin Collins said, in a phone call with CNN minutes after Biden announced his exit from the 2024 race, former President Trump responded, "He is the worst president in the history of our country. He goes down as the single worst president by far in the history of our country." Come on, Trump. He even called you after, whatever. While it's unclear who the Democratic, Jon Stewart, no Jon Stewart. It's going to be a real politician, not some person who's on a show. No more reality, or no more celebrity reality TV show politicians, please. While it is unclear who the Democratic nominee will be, Trump said he thinks VP Harris will be easier to defeat than Biden would have been. Ben Meiselas for president in chat. Hutch said, sorry, my dogs are barking, so I'm muted for 1 second. Hutch said, he delivered us from Trump, executed the most progressive policy agenda in modern history, and stepped aside when the path to victory looked more and more opaque with each day passing. Michelle Obama has made it clear she does not want to run. This does not change anything. Trump must be stopped. That is very true. All right. Olivia Juliana, he will be remembered as one of the greatest presidents in American history. Thank you, Mr. President, for your service to our country. Parks and Recreation star Joe Biden has announced he will no longer be running for president. Good one, good one. I love this clip.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not.
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about.
Back when politics used to be civil. All right, let's keep pushing. BBC, Biden drops out. Apparently there's a breaking. It's interesting because Joe Biden kept doubling down, saying he's going to run. He's going to run no matter what. But people said he'll say that until he doesn't. Joe Biden withdraws from U.S. presidential race. U.S. President Joe Biden has announced that he will end his candidacy for re-election, saying, quote, "It is in the best interest of my party and the country. It comes 4 months before Americans go to the polls, upending the race for the White House. It follows weeks of intense pressure from fellow Democrats after a faltering debate performance against Republican Donald Trump at the end of June. In a letter posted to his social media account, he said it has been the greatest honor of his life to serve as president." Yeah, the one time Cenk Uygur was right. Let's write down some pros and cons to this. Let's just get our thoughts together. Because, I mean, there's a reality where we sit here and we freak out and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do next? Or we can lay out what happens next. The very obvious one. Pros. The age attack is nullified by a younger candidate. We can get a new, unless it's Bernie Sanders. I love Bernie Sanders, but I mean, you guys understand what I'm saying. We should not elect a Bernie Sanders age. Isn't he 82? Yeah, we shouldn't elect an 82-year-old in place of the 81-year-old. No. A new VP will... Yeah, I could see if Alan Lichtman would like to come on my show. Let's see what Alan Lichtman says about this. In light of today's news, Alan Lichtman live stream. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get Alan Lichtman on stream. Let's keep going, though. Harris and Newsom, I don't know. A new VP will allow us to appeal to different demographics. For example, Shapiro could win PA, right? It probably won't be Shapiro's VP, but it could allow us to win PA. No, the racist will not vote for a black female. I don't know. The cons. We lose the incumbency advantage. Thank you for the dono, Rory Blythe. Stop with the sadness. This is our reality. Let's work with it and win. Yeah, I'm not sad. I'm not very sad right now. I'm just looking ahead. What are we going to do going forward? I'll let you guys know if Professor Lichtman responds. That could be really good. Breaking. President Biden endorses Vice President Harris. Biden has officially endorsed VP Harris. Wow. Ezra Klein said, an actual hero. This is what America First looks like when it's a lived ethos rather than a mask for narcissism and ambition. Wow. That is true. Putting America first is understanding that Trump raises a threat to democracy. Okay. Let's delve into the Republican reaction really quickly. This person said, a Republican, Joe just dropped out. The Democratic elite, corporate media, and billionaire donors successfully pressured the candidate chosen by Democratic primary voters to drop out because he's down in the polls and losing. Democrats destroy democracy in pursuit of power. Elon Musk said exactly. You could also frame it as Democrats being responsive to the voter base, because when he says the Democratic elite, corporate media, and billionaire donors are the ones who pressured this, if you actually poll voters, I believe 75% of them wanted Biden to drop out. So this is the will of the people, even though they voted for him in the primaries. Yeah, F Elon. This is what taking a real bullet looks like. True, that's a good tweet. This is what taking a real bullet looks like. But do you guys think it's a little bit premature to drop out when you just have a few bad weeks of polling? I don't know. Let's go to the 538 model. See, like Biden's chances in the 538 model were still 49%. Someone said, Adam, the voters did not say that. Actually, when they polled Democratic voters in the past few weeks, 75% of them wanted President Biden to drop out. That's what it said. That's what all of the polls said. I get that they voted for him in the primaries, but that was before the debate. He was pressured out. I doubt there were death threats. BS poll. I mean, this is wild. Also, all of us in chat that are saying, like, people are saying BS poll, I wouldn't have said that. We are all hyper-focused on politics. You have to understand, if you're in this chat right now, we pay attention to politics 24/7. A lot of the Democrats that are just casual people paying attention to politics wanted Biden to drop out. Brian Stelter said, I expected that Biden would step aside, but I never imagined that he would do it via a paper statement on a Sunday afternoon. Does this timing and format make any sense? Aaron Rupar said, dude, are you really moving the goalposts from Biden should drop out to not like this? Very true. People already moving the goalposts. He shouldn't drop out like this. Some people are excited. Alan Lichtman tweeted, Biden has dropped out, but the Democrats could still salvage the contest key if they unite behind Harris. That's what Alan Lichtman said. With the 50-50 Senate, this man stared down Russia, codified gay marriage, passed the biggest climate change bill ever, passed the biggest infrastructure bill ever, signed huge bills on gun control, semiconductors, and veterans, and defied a red wave. Best president of our lifetimes. Doesn't matter how old you are in this chat. I know we have people anywhere from 18 years old, it says in my demographics, to 80 years old. He has been the best president of our lifetimes. Adam, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. I'm glad we can all be here to unite. If you want a bigger community to go talk to about this stuff, go join the Adam Mockler subreddit. Somebody posted this story the minute it happened on the subreddit. The minute it happened, somebody posted the subreddit. So there's breaking news, there's debate. Joe Biden endorses Kamala Harris. Is the United States of America finally ready for a female president? Oh, okay, let's go back to writing the pros and cons of this. The pros, VP Harris can successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump. All right, I'm going to run a poll in chat to see who we think the new VP should be, assuming that Harris is the nominee. But in order to run this poll, you guys have to go like the stream first, because I'm taking away the poll stream. Break down the pros and cons of Harris as a president. I mean, it's all pros. Harris would be a good president, but we're breaking down the pros and cons of Biden dropping out. Go like this stream so I can run this poll successfully. Who should Kamala Harris VP be? Drop some names in chat so I know. You also have to remember the VP position is made to give you strength in an area where you're generally not strong, is what I was trying to say. So for example, if you're not doing well in the Midwest, you want to choose a VP that's good in the Midwest. So here is our first poll. Here are the 4 names. Hopefully, I might have misspelled one name. I typed that. Who should Kamala Harris's VP be? Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, Gavin Newsom, Jamie Raskin. I could have put Mark Kelly too. I can only put 4 choices, guys. We'll do another one. We'll do like a bracket. So Pete Buttigieg is winning. Go like the stream and go vote in this. Thank you for the dono, CL Grassi. Right now, Pete Buttigieg is winning. This is democracy, everyone. A YouTube poll. A YouTube poll is how democracy thrives. 1 second. We can run another poll, too. So right now, Jamie Raskin and Pete Buttigieg. Go vote. Go like the stream, because I'm about to end the poll and run another poll. It's going to be the best. Start a poll. Who should Harris VP be? Biden is the VP? Chill out. No way. We're going to add Pete Buttigieg because he was at the top. Mark Kelly. Who else? I can add Adam Kinzinger. Obama as VP is not possible. Not Jon Stewart. J.B. Pritzker will do. Okay, here's our second poll. You'll notice that there is one repeat name. It's Pete Buttigieg because he won the last poll. Check it out. Check it out. New poll. Mark Kelly, Adam Kinzinger, J.B. Pritzker. Jon Favreau said Hulk Hogan for VP. Why didn't I think of Hulk Hogan? Damn. Nah. Jon Favreau said a courageous and selfless decision. The president did what he's done for the last 4 years. He listened to the American people and put the country's interests ahead of his own. See, this is the problem. I have people in chat saying, who the hell is Mark Kelly? Somebody said, who the hell is J.B. Pritzker? That's the problem with introducing people to the national stage at the last minute. But it looks like Pete Buttigieg has won again. Should Biden step down to regain the incumbent advantage? No, I think Biden already said he's not going to step down. He wants to focus on his presidency. Harris and Oprah. I'm not sure about the optics of having a ticket with 2 women. I would vote for it in a heartbeat. Not Oprah. I don't think we should put Oprah. I would vote for Harris and Gretchen Whitmer in a heartbeat, but ideally you want to balance the ticket out with if we have a woman as the main president, you probably want a male as the VP. And I'm just saying that because that's realistically how politics works. I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying the American people generally work like that. You want to balance out the ticket. A lot of people on Twitter are saying Joe Biden will go down as one of the greatest presidents in history. Fair and balanced. Yeah, you want to appeal to the broadest demographic you can appeal to. And my worry is that if we had a ticket that was like Kamala Harris and then Gretchen Whitmer, yeah, you might be alienating some people. Okay, next. Mehdi Hassan said Joe Biden endorses Kamala. I can't keep up. Good. Dems need to unify and fight Trump. Thank you for the donation, David, Sergeant Pepper. Hey, Adam, I guess that's it. Not necessarily. It's not over. It's not even close to being over. I guess we need to keep writing down this pros and cons list so you guys don't doom. Pros. The age attack is now nullified by a younger candidate. My biggest pro is that VP Harris can now successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump. Bashir, yeah. So it looks like Pete Buttigieg has continually won. Pete Buttigieg has continually won the VP pick. Let's go. Buttigieg and Kamala 2024. Harris and Andy Bashir. I could see that. Thank you for the dono, White Dove. Adam, what are your thoughts on a black woman with an LGBTQ VP, meaning Pete Buttigieg? I think that would be fine. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't think that would be a big deal. I don't think this matters in the long run. Those who are voting for democracy and the future of the United States will vote Democrats. Yep, this could excite some young voters. Sexism and racism, I guess I go, and or racism could lose us votes. Okay, so this is what we can do. There's a reality where we all sit here and we freak out and we don't know what to do, or we can just make like a pros and cons list and try to figure out all of the pros, all of the cons. Another pro, MAGA has less time to build up dirt on the candidate. That could also be a con though. I'll put that on the list. MAGA has less time to build up dirt on the candidate, but in the same vein, introducing a new candidate, why can't I type? A new candidate to the national stage risks new dirt, if you get what I'm saying. So, say there's a reality where Gavin Newsom becomes the VP. I don't think it'll be Gavin Newsom. That's two people from California. And again, the VP should play off your strengths. But imagine a reality where Gavin Newsom is the VP, and then we find that there is a huge scandal for Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom did something in 2014 on Twitter that we're just now finding out about. Mr. Beast? Hell no. So far, the pros. Use Grammarly for typing. Yeah, sometimes I type too fast. The pros. VP Harris. President Biden has officially endorsed VP Kamala Harris. We had it in the bag, guys. The racists will not vote for a black female. I don't know. What you have to take into account is the largest coalition in America is the anti-Trump coalition. The anti-Trump coalition is full of center-left people, full of center-right people. It's the largest coalition in America. The Dems must get in lockstep behind whoever they choose and fast. I agree. Now is the time to be unified. Everybody in this chat, I think my one message to you guys would be, even if you're disappointed with Biden dropping out, the most important thing you can do is unify behind Kamala and do everything in your power to make sure that she beats Donald Trump in November. Let's see what Twitter is saying. Breaking news from AP. Let me pull up this breaking news. This was shameful. I'm in tears. Thank you for being calm in the storm. You're a good man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Or no. Biden. I just got a notification from AP. They're doing constant updates. Okay, let's finish this article out. Now, Democrats have urgently... Let me see. A party's presumptive presidential nominee has never stepped out of the race so close to the election. The closest parallel would be President Lyndon Johnson, who, besieged by the Vietnam War, announced in March 1968 that he would not seek another term. What is with all the parallels to 1968? The DNC this year is also in Chicago for the first time since 1968. Now, Democrats have urgently been trying to bring coherence to the nominating process in a matter of weeks. Did you think Biden wouldn't have dropped out of the race? I think that they left it pretty open-ended. I don't know. From everything he said, it sounded like he was staying, but he had to say that. He had to say that. Now, Democrats have to try urgently to bring coherence to the nominating process in a matter of weeks and persuade voters in a stunningly short amount of time that their nominee can handle the job and beat Trump. Yep, we have to convince voters across the country. You said this isn't good, Alan Lichtman should... Yep, we're trying to get Alan Lichtman on stream right now, actually, to see what he has to say about this. The decision marks a swift and stunning end to Biden's 52 years in electoral politics. If you're saying you won't vote because of this, then you don't understand the threat of Donald Trump. In chat right now, I'm going to run a new poll about... Type yes if you're voting, no if you're not voting because of this decision. I better not see any no's. Yes, yes. Yes, you guys are still voting. You guys understand that Donald Trump tried to overthrow an election. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, you guys are good. You guys are good. I'm voting. Still voting bigly. No, I'm Canadian. Damn. That never stopped Democrats. I want all of you guys. No. No. Whatever. I'm going to have my dead family members voting to make up for anyone saying no in chat. I'm going to have a suitcase of ballots in my trunk. No, I'm a felon, but go blue. It's all right. As long as you can still canvass or phone bank. Christy Johnson, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Helping the stream push on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Guys, there's so many ways that we can use our voice in America, just on a side note, that aren't even voting. Like, even heading up to the election, you can phone bank, you can canvass, you can mobilize. I can drop some resources for that in chat. There are so many ways that you can use your voice in America. All right, let's keep going. Biden won the vast majority of delegates in every nominating contest but one, which would have made his nomination a formality. Now that he's dropped out, those delegates will be free to support another candidate. What does this say? Shane Sanders, thank you for the donation. Conservative polls have been drastically off. Con polls. The only poll that matters is official elections, and the con is it's like 2016 where voters feel their voices and votes are being silenced. I'm going to push back. First of all, thank you for the donation. Trump is afraid of Kamala. He might be. So there's this... People in chat always say that the polls are incredibly off, but that just genuinely isn't the case. That isn't the case. Back in 2020, thank you, MeidasTouch, for the donation. This is sad news. I love Biden, but we must unite and overtake the Trump campaign. No one wants Hulk Hogan as a cabinet member. Incredibly true. Thank you, Summerlee. So, people will say that the polls are incredibly off, but back in 2020, around this time, the poll said that Biden was up by 7 points in all of the swing states. If you went back to 2020 and you went 7 months before the election, it said that Biden was up 6 to 8 points comfortably. When election day came, Biden won by 7 points on average. He won by 6 to 8 points. The polls were directly spot on in 2020. When 2022 came, they said there was going to be a red wave, but they were all within the margin of error. Jacob, thank you for the donation. We lose the incumbent key. I appreciate that. Blaine Holland, love to see you here. I feel sick. Harris would be a good president. However, I doubt this country will elect a black woman. They can if we work our asses off, guys. It's not over. Josh Shapiro will deliver Pennsylvania. That would be nice. If he chose a Shapiro as VP and we got PA because of that. I think everyone's dooming a little too soon. Everyone's saying it's over, it's over. It's totally not over. Yep. Let's add this to the list of pros and cons that we're writing. Pros. Harris will roll through Trump if a second debate happens. Thank you for the donut, Stephen Long. Thanks, Adam. This is fascinating and useful. Yeah, we're trying to, I'm getting the news the same time as you guys. We're just trying to parse it all through. So here are some of the pros and cons so far. There's going to be more cons that we can write down, but the pros. Here's a breakdown of the entire situation, actually. Biden drops out. Biden will remain president, but he's bowing out of the 2024 presidential race. President Biden has officially endorsed VP Kamala Harris. VP Harris can successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump. The age attack is nullified by a younger candidate. A new VP will allow us to appeal to different demographics. For example, Shapiro could win Pennsylvania. Could win us Pennsylvania. This could excite some younger voters, which is true. MAGA has less time to build up dirt on a candidate, but on the flip side of that, introducing a new candidate to the national stage risks new dirt that we didn't know of. Harris will roll through Trump if a second debate happens. Thank you for the donation, Jen Braun. Thank you, Bridget. Thanks, we need real leadership, so keep this up. That's what we're trying, yeah. Cons, we risk losing the incumbency advantage. Sexism and or racism could lose us votes. Very true. Really quickly, go join the Adam Mockler subreddit for memes, breaking news, and political debate. Subreddit is Adam Mockler for memes and breaking news. As President Joe Biden, thank you for the donation, I'll be fight. Harris, 59, appeared to be the natural successor, in large part because she is the only candidate who can directly tap into the Biden campaign's war chest according to federal campaign finance rules. So let's add that. VP Kamala Harris is the only one that can tap into the campaign's war chest. Thank you, Will, too. Trump wants to be a dictator, and the Supreme Court has given him power to do that. Dems will win, or 240 years of democracy will be gone. Thor Noten said it's Jover. It's Jover. Maybe not. Who knows? Jane Lovelace, thank you so much for your first super chat. All right. Oh, my Lord. Pete Buttigieg versus J.D. Vance debate. That's a great idea, Mellow One. J.D. Vance would get rolled by Pete Buttigieg. Who in chat wants to see J.D. Vance try to slither his way out of a Pete Buttigieg debate while Buttigieg is just hammering him down? That would be great. Yes, you want to see it? That would be so good. Thank you for the dono, Mellow One. You're helping keep the live stream rolling in an intense time. That would be good. That would be an easy debate. So some more cons. We lose the incumbency advantage. Sexism and or racism could lose us votes. It's sad, but that's the reality. Introducing a new candidate to the national stage risks new dirt. 4 months is not a lot of time to launch a national campaign. Thank you, Rory. Thank you so much for being a homie. Adam Mockler, subreddit, link in chat for fun memes. I'm just trying to grow the subreddit. We've got a lot of people in there that give really good research advice. The subreddit's a fun place to be. Biden's backing of Harris helps clear the way for VP Harris, but a smooth transition is by no means assured. Thank you, Julian. I appreciate that. The DNC is scheduled to be held in exactly 1 month on August 19th to August 22nd in Chicago, which I'll be there. But the party has announced that it will hold a virtual roll call to formally nominate Biden before in-person proceedings begin. That also adds an entire layer of trouble, because Basically, in order to get on the ballot in Ohio, you guys already know this, they had to do the virtual roll call a few weeks before the DNC because Ohio was saying they'll cut them off the ballot. So we need to have the new candidate, which it seems like we do, VP Harris, nominated in a few weeks. Would this mean that Kamala will debate Trump in the next scheduled debate that was supposed to be Biden? Yep, if it happens. Is Kamala automatically on all the states' ballots? Is there any chance she could be kept off? I think it's happening early enough where Kamala would be on all the states' ballots. Thank you so much, Teresa. Holy. Thanks, Adam, for all you do. You're a wonderful example. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much, R. Castellino, for the donation. I panicked when I first heard that Biden dropped out. I'm so glad you jumped on live to discuss this so quickly. Keep up the great job. Thank you for being here. W. Donos, thank you. Trump was right. The $1 donation. Well, thanks for your money if you're a MAGA supporter. I appreciate the donation. Nothing like taking MAGA money. Means a lot. A muse called Kayla said, keep blue seats safe. No governors, no Senate, Congress. What about Beto? Great campaigner, fundraisers, and Kennedy. Yeah, I like Beto. But he has kind of a track record of losing a lot, right? Mark Kelly could work. Mark Kelly would win us Arizona. White astronaut dude from Arizona. Mark Kelly would be good. Again, your VP, the goal is for the VP to pick up voters in areas where you're weak. So, for example, if Kamala Harris, who is from California, was weak in the Midwest, somebody that's from the Midwest could help out. Or somebody like Josh Shapiro could help her win Pennsylvania, which would be great. I'm not a big fan of Beto. Yeah, I'm just going to say that. I'm not a big fan of Beto. Can Joe Biden arrest Trump? What a question. He probably won't. Trump is the old one now. Good point. We had that on our pros and cons list. Thank you, Keisha West. I'll put that. Trump is the old one now, which is great. I can't believe, okay, it's just starting to set in. I can't believe that President Biden has officially dropped out of the race. Let's go back to Twitter's reaction.
And so I'm going to be on the phone tonight calling delegates, getting them, whipping them up, trying to get them on board for Kamala Harris. I don't think that's going to be a difficult task.
You guys can hear this all right. There's no like feedback when I play this video, right?
And anything else the vice president needs to do, I'll be there, because right now Kamala Harris has her work cut out for her. She's running against the oldest nominee for president of the United States in American history. And so when you have this type of change election, when you have this type of generational divide that you have, it's a question of whether or not you want to go backwards with Donald Trump or forward with Kamala Harris. I mean, the man is nearly 80 years old. And so the question is, can he serve another 4 years? I'm not sure he can. Yeah, because we have.
That is powerful. Kamala Harris is running against the oldest nominee for president of the United States in American history. Literally, we can just copy paste that onto the pros. Kamala Harris is running against the oldest nominee for president of the United States in American history. Thank you, Drew. Not going to lie, I'm worried about the latent sexism and racism. One of the issues with Hillary was that she's female. That is objectively true. I grew up in Indiana, so I heard people saying, yeah, my dad will never vote for, I was in high school, of course. Or actually, no, I was in 8th grade. People were like, yeah, my dad would never vote for a woman. So Obama's issue was being a man of color. I'm not sure if Kamala being a female of color can pull this off. She can pull it off. She absolutely can pull it off, but it's going to take work. Right now in this chat, it says we have roughly 3,000 people watching. If at least half of the people watching this took it upon themselves to go out and phone bank or go out and canvass. I've canvassed before in the past few months, and it's easy. We registered voters. We had 300 people spreading out, registering different liberal voters. Don't say we're effed. We're not effed. The cons, we lose the incumbency advantage. Joe Biden's name recognition is lost. Travis, thank you, said, nobody's talking about the important component. Biden has nothing left to lose. I want to see him go balls to the wall with policies. Legalize pot, dude. Legalizing pot would be such a good move from Biden, but you have to remember, it's not that he has nothing to lose. If he did something wild, it could reflect poorly on VP Harris. I believe Gavin Newsom is the choice for president. We need someone who is willing to fight hard enough. It's going to be, no, it's not going to be Newsom. Biden already endorsed Harris, so I think all of his delegates will be, yeah. Thank you guys all for being here, by the way. Leave a like on the stream. Let's keep reading the breaking news reports. Let's scroll through Twitter. Just a quick just to say, I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed, so I don't know what's going to pop up. We've had memes pop up before where it's like the most random stuff in the world. Mark Hamill has spoken. Joe Biden has a record of accomplishments unmatched by any president in our lifetime. He restored honesty, dignity, integrity to the office after 4 years of lies, crime, scandals, and chaos. Thank you for your service, Mr. President. Thank you, MeidasTouch. Harris's husband is Jewish. That could help. That could definitely help, yeah. I think Jewish Americans are already leaning Democratic because of, number one, polling, but number two, Donald Trump is just an asshole to Jewish people. Thank you so much, Edwin. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, QWERTY. Khan, Harris as a nominee, not white, and a woman. You have to convince people who'd rather vote for the fascists than to vote for a black woman. Yeah, that's true. We have that on there. Thank you for keeping this live stream going. $5 still alive. Alan Lichtman won't write this. We're trying to get We're trying to get Alan Lichtman on the stream right now. Hang in here. We're trying to get Alan Lichtman. I was emailing with him. Joe Biden's name recognition should also be a pro. That is true. Okay. Now that you say that, one of the reasons why President Biden was able to win kind of easily in 2020 was because of the name recognition that came along with being associated with President Barack Obama. He was associated with a very popular president who was the first black president. So maybe Kamala could also use a similar argument. Hey, I have the name recognition of being the VP to President Biden. So that is true. Adam, what about Harris Newsom as VP ticket? That's double California. I don't like it. I don't like double California. Listen, Newsom is a baller. He's so good at articulating all of the problems, but Newsom and Harris are both from California. You guys get why there can't be why there shouldn't be a double California ticket, most likely? Fetterman? I like Fetterman, and he's from PA. Yo, I'd be down for Fetterman, but I'd be down for Fetterman. They're both kind of young, though. How old is Fetterman? I guess they're both pretty young, relatively. 54 and 59. Those are both pretty young ages, it feels like. So it's like, but they have the experience. Fetterman is brain damaged, yeah. Fetterman's also kind of a mess. He's wild. Naomi Biden said, I'm nothing but proud today of my pop, our President Joe Biden, who has served our country with every bit of his soul. Thank you, Summerlee. With every bit of his soul, with unmatched distinction. This is actually a really good statement from Naomi Biden. Let's read this. Which is his Joe Biden's granddaughter that he's always with. Granddaughter, I believe. Right? Granddaughter? She said, not only has he been and will continue to be the most effective president of our lifetime, but he has likely already cemented himself as the most effective and impactful public servant in our nation's history. He has been at the center of and had material impact on literally every single major issue that our country and world has faced for 50 years. Our world today is better in so many ways thanks to him. To the Americans that have always had his back, keep the faith. He will always have ours. You know, it's kind of wild to think this is Joe Biden's exit from politics completely. This is Joe Biden's total exit from politics. Thank you, Oopie Doopie. We need Mark Kelly somewhere. He's not super progressive. He's moderate and will pull the insular Midwesterners. He's manly. He's a former astronaut, former military, and will appease. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for Mark Kelly. He would help us pull Arizona, which would be nice. I'd be down for Mark Kelly. Has he said anything about... Someone said, who's most likely to run for VP? Some people were saying Mayor Pete. Some people were saying Mark Kelly. No reason to be in tears, guys. Biden's political career has ended officially, but it's the beginning of a new era where we can fight. We can fight even harder. Let's keep reading these breaking news updates. Nearly 30 minutes after dropping out, Biden threw his support behind VP Harris, the party's instant favorite. Thank you, Drew Wilson. Can former presidents run as vice presidents? No. Obama cannot run as VP because of the fact that he already served his 2-term limit, and that if something happened to VP Harris, like, I don't know, so if something were to happen to VP Harris, he could not be president for a 3rd term. But thank you for the donation, Drew Wilson. Thank you, Charlie Baker. How many Trump bots do you think are in here? At least 5. I've seen a few people. Some Trump supporter donated $1 to me earlier, so thank you for that, Trump supporter. Gavin Newsom is not the choice. I agree. Because he is married to Kimberly Guilfoyle. Can you imagine the skeletons that would drop out of his closet? That was one of my points on this pros and cons list. Cons, introducing a new candidate, VP candidate in particular, introducing a new VP candidate to the national stage risks new dirt or new scandals that we couldn't even imagine right now. Like, you know how many dumb scandals there have been in politics with, like, Howard Dean screaming? What if Gavin Newsom has some video he made 10 years ago where he's shirtless? I don't know. Like, who knows? I don't know. It's not going to be Gavin Newsom. I don't think. Please stop with Mark Kelly. Arizona was screwed. When Obama took Napolitano, we ended up with Governor Brewer. Arizona has a hard time getting new Dems. So you don't want to pull Mark Kelly away from Arizona is what you're saying. Raskin would be good. We ran a poll earlier, and everybody overwhelmingly said that the VP pick should be Pete, Mayor Pete. What does chat think about Mayor Pete right now? Let's keep reading this article, too. Thank you, Wojtek. Thanks for the great work, Adam. I believe that now Americans will have more reasons to beat Trump. He must be stopped. Yeah, this could energize younger voters. Guys, don't talk trash about me. I'll be back in... I'm going to refill my water bottle. I'll be back in 30. Don't talk shit. My mouth is getting dry. All right. You guys are already talking trash? Wow. All right. Let's keep reading. This Adam guy is kind of weird. What are we even doing here? All right. The decision marks a swift... Jesus Christ, this spam is crazy. I think Harris is not relatable. You said that like 6 times. Similar to Hillary Clinton. You know, I can empathize with that. I used to not like Harris as much, but I think she's gotten more charismatic. Mark Kelly is scandal-free. You say that, but once you introduce somebody to the national stage, oh, those journalists will dig up a whole different layer. Those journalists will dig up a whole different layer once you introduce them to the national stage. Somebody said, this is Kamala right now. I doubt it. I bet it's really somber. I bet it's a really somber mood. Purple Thing, thank you for the donation. Con, doomer mentality kills voter energy, causing voter turnout to dwindle. General divisiveness of Dems causes inability to get enough votes. Pro, that is true. We can add those. Let me add some of those. This could hurt voter turnout as Kamala isn't as known. But a con, we already kind of have this. VP Harris, this is the biggest, this is the biggest pro in my opinion. The largest pro is that VP Harris can successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump in a way that Joe Biden just couldn't. I'm going to be 100% honest. Joe Biden could not effectively prosecute the case in the way that he should have been able to. Now, he had some good appearances in the past few weeks. He's been doing decently, but I want somebody out there who can explain the fake elector scheme. I want somebody out there who can explain in detail what Donald Trump did that led to the Capitol riot on January 6th, and that just wasn't President Biden. Let's read a few more donations. It is literally unconstitutional to have 2 candidates from the same state. That is why Dick Cheney had to change his citizenship. Okay. I was thinking, I've heard that before. People in the chat need to get a grip. How many Biden supporters will now vote for Trump because Kamala isn't a white male? Okay. I get what you're saying, but that's not the question. It's not that Biden supporters will now vote for Trump because Kamala is a black woman. The worry is that a lot of the voters, the swing voters in the key swing states that we need, might have a little bit of ingrained racism or sexism that it's not always their fault. They just grew up in an environment where it's ingrained and it's not okay, but that might hurt the chances, right? But you make a decent point. I loved Pete, Mayor Pete, since 2020, but I don't know if he's ever very marketable outside the Democratic Party. I think Pete is very marketable. He's like articulate in the way that no Democrat has been since Obama. The way that he's able to just slice through all the BS is kind of a quality that not a lot of Democrats have, if you guys know what I mean. Thank you, Cybernate. Kamala is a prosecutor versus Trump the criminal. Good versus evil meme. Very true. Framing. Prosecutor versus criminal. That's some good framing. All right, let's go check out what like people on the mainstream news networks are saying. Let's see what Asen's been posting.
Because we have work.
Nothing interesting yet. Let's check out Rupar. My phone is blowing up, but I haven't really checked it because I'm streaming. I have 60 new texts basically right now, which is wild.
In his heart, Donald Trump is a negotiator, and he sees.
Let's go back to my homepage of Twitter. This is wild. Jon Stewart said legend. Jon Stewart said legend. Okay, so here are my honest thoughts. Here's what I'm thinking. I think President Biden dropping out in a roundabout way could help us because there were so many middle voters. There were so many middle of the ground voters that kind of were lost by President Biden's age. I know a lot of these people. These people showed up in the polls when people were polled. President Biden's age lost a lot of people. I know that VP Harris isn't as like charismatic or likable as somebody like Biden or somebody like Obama, but number one, she can prosecute the case. Number two, she could appeal to some of these middle of the ground voters that I just don't think. Adam Kinzinger for VP, I would be okay with that. If Kinzinger were VP, I think that would be game over. I think that would bring us back. Kinzinger for VP would be so cool. I could DM him right now, but I won't because he's probably getting a bunch of those. Yeah. Coconut pilled. Everyone know what coconut pilled means? I guess I gotta introduce you guys to the Kamala memes. A black female with a gay vice president not gonna win. Someone in chat said that. I don't know. I think they could.
You think you just felt...
So this is what people always joke around about. This is why people joke about coconuts with Kamala.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
No to Kinzinger. Did you guys forget that he's a Republican through and through? Okay, but that is why we're saying Kinzinger. He is a moderate Republican who can appeal to middle of the ground voters. Get out of here with that RFK stuff. No RFK. Hell no. You think Mayor Pete is a bit too far? I don't know. No RFK. RuPaul for VP. I like RuPaul, but hell no. We are done with the celebrities. No more celebrities, please. Donald Trump is officially the oldest nominee for president in American history, and that is the framing we use. Right away, we need to talk about how old Donald Trump is. Why would the Republicans nominate someone so old? It just makes no sense. He's just so old. I don't get it. Why would a party ever... Let me write this tweet out. Let's read this one more time, because this is kind of history right here. This letter right here is history, and some of you guys may not have seen it when I first read it. This is Biden's letter when he dropped out. Thank you for the donation. Mayor Pete for VP. I do love Mayor Pete. My personal pick would be Mark Kelly and Mayor Pete. And no, not because Pete is gay, though that checks off a historical list. They were both military. Yeah, you could appeal to the military people. Honestly, I don't view Pete Buttigieg being gay as that big of a minus. Like, how many people will realistically not vote for him because he's gay? Maybe you'd have to be like a hardcore MAGA supporter already. Open convention. The open convention would just be a mess when President Biden has already endorsed VP Harris. Okay, let's read this really quickly. We already read it, but this is history, guys. This is history right here. We are an hour in to President Biden dropping out. Maybe it happened like an hour and a half ago. It happened about an hour ago. And this is history. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drugs. For seniors, and expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances. And this is great. This is great messaging right here. I said this earlier, but immediately what Biden needs to be doing is running on, what Harris needs to be doing is running on Biden's record. Sorry, I just got a text that I was trying to read. Harris needs to be running on Biden's record. Biden has an amazing record. All of these things, lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, historic investments in infrastructure, expanding the affordable health care to a record number of Americans. They provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans. Harris needs to be running on this record. It is a beautiful record, and Biden is doing a great job of already laying that out. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate change legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances across the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Absolutely wild. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. We have some donations to catch up on. Thank you for all the donations, everybody. This really helps keep the stream going. It helps keep everything flowing. Somebody said, folks, please, listen. It may be Jover, but it's not over. That is very, very true. It is not over. Guys, we have to look at the bright side of this. I know everybody wants to have a doomer mentality and say that it's over, but it's really not. On the bright side, we now have a much younger candidate who can prosecute the case against Donald Trump. I mean, people my age will be thrilled. Thank you for the donation. We are one of the very few countries that have never had a female president. It's time to make history. True. That would be absolutely wild. An ex-Republican and Democratic on a ticket. Oh my God. See, that's the case for Adam Kinzinger. Thank you for the donation. It really does help the stream continue going. My heart is broken, but the Dems have to be tough. It's okay to be heartbroken. It's normal to be. President Biden's political career is over. President Biden has served in politics for 51 years, I'd like to say, and his time serving is over, which is, of course, sad, but thank you for the donation. President and vice presidential candidates can be from the same state. I have a site to show you. Won't let me post it here. That's what I've heard conflicting things. Some people have told me that it's unconstitutional for VP and president to be from the same state. Some people have told me that it's not unconstitutional, but it's just bad strategy. I've heard both. But thank you for the donation. Every donation really helps keep the stream going. Yeah, it really does help. Help me justify being on live for 4 hours straight, you know. Kinzinger is the only hope. He has been sending emails under the Biden-Harris email list, so that may be a clue. Yep, when I interviewed Adam Kinzinger, he told me he thinks that the Biden-Harris campaign should reach out and integrate him more. Thank you for the donation. Here's the Kin vice president. But even so, even if this is true, I trust you. I don't think Newsom should be the VP pick. What scares me is no party has won the presidency ditching their incumbent since Franklin Pierce, and that was because there was no legit opposition party at the time because the GOP was 2 years old. Yep. Thank you for the donation. Kinzinger Mockler 2024. That's what Adam Kinzinger told me. Yeah, he said I'll be his VP, which is funny. All right. Let's keep reading. Let's keep seeing Twitter's reaction. Let's see what my Twitter homepage says. It may be Jover, but it's not over yet. Vote blue no matter who, and if you vote red, vote for those who aren't hyper MAGA. Yeah, try not to vote red, but if you're going to, it should be with the goal of pushing MAGA out. It should have been in a primary. Sarah Longwell, a Republican who hosts the Bulwark podcast, said the Trump campaign is freaking out right now. Apparently the Trump campaign is freaking out. Adam Kinzinger said, here's the difference between a man who loves his country and one who loves himself. Joe Biden did an honorable and selfless act by stepping aside. His legacy will be among the best. Trump cares about Trump only, and the GOP is too scared to do what the Dems did. Tell the truth. That is true. Johnny Wishbone, thank you. Okay, so now the hand-wringing crowd can step up and deliver as they are the architects of this late innings debacle. Remember, Dump is the old man with serious cognitive issues with the dangerous policy issues. Yep. We can now reframe it as Donald Trump is the one who is incredibly old. Donald Trump is the old one. I totally agree. Kamala Harris and Antonio Delgado, the New York lieutenant governor. Yeah, but the only thing is, I might be the one out of the loop. But I don't know much about Delgado. I don't know much about him, so there's just a lot of risk. It's really hard to introduce somebody to the national stage, and you have to get voters to know who they are. No Newsom. I agree. No Newsom. DM Kinzinger. He is a white male veteran. Yeah, but the only thing is, I'm sure Kinzinger's phone is blowing up right now, and he's not going to care what I have to say. I'm just some random person that he's chatted with. Well, he likes me. He likes me a lot. But he's not gonna be like, oh, Adam Mockler DM'd me, let's suit up and do this. It's just like, he knows his boundaries better than I do. Two people from the same state can run, but both cannot accept electoral votes from that state. California has the most electors, not a good idea. Yep. That could be, yeah. I just think it's not a good idea for strategy.
About this. He's a world leader.
New Kamala, or no, this is an old Kamala ad. People are saying run back this Kamala ad. AOC for VP. No, she's too early in her career. Let's save AOC. Let's save AOC for down the road. She's still pretty young. She's got a lot of time. Nothing left to do but phone bank. Yep, make sure everybody is phone banking. Thank you so much for the donation. You're helping keep the stream going. You're helping fund my next MAGA rally, my next Trump supporter interview. It really does mean a lot. MeidasTouch said, let's rerun this Kamala ad back.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your next president, there's really a...
This is how we frame the campaign. I'm going to steal somebody's words in chat earlier. Prosecutor versus criminal. Boom.
The only one.
Someone said, what is phone banking? It's when you call and you mobilize people through the phone for candidates. So like canvassing is essentially, there's a few ways you can do it, but you can door knock and you can go try to register voters. Phone banking is calling people and trying to get them on board with your candidate. You've probably gotten those or texting them. You guys have probably gotten those texts before. This is a great ad. Does this give you guys kind of some hope on how we can frame the election? Or frame the race? The best line of this was, she prosecuted sex predators. He is a sex predator. Ooh, so good. This is a great way to frame everything, right? And by the way, thank you guys for all the donations. Yeah, I appreciate that. Literally every single one does help keep the stream rolling. Hakeem Jeffries, my statement on President Joseph R. Biden Jr. President Joe Biden is one of the most accomplished and consequential leaders in American history. In less than one term, he rescued the nation from a once-in-a-century pandemic. Actually, Biden basically did that twice, because when Biden came into office the first time in January of 2009 with Obama, him and Obama fixed the economy. It bounced back. Then a Republican ruins the effing economy again, and he comes back and boom. So, Midas Lisa, this pleases the younger generation. I think so too. I can ask some of my Gen Z friends what they think about this, and I'll get back to you guys. But yeah, I can definitely ask some of my Gen Z friends if they're more or less likely to vote now. I can do a little poll. Biden brought the economy roaring back from the brink of a recession, enacted consequential legislation for everyday Americans, and saved our democracy by defeating the insurrectionist in chief. We've also got some news dropping. Let me pull up AP News. By the way, guys, make sure you've clicked the subscribe button on my channel. Somebody told me that they've been watching me for 2 months, but they weren't subscribed that whole time. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Because I post content every single day, and it's good content, I think. Come on, Adam. DM Adam Kinzinger. Thank you so much for the donation. Ben Shapiro. Okay, Pete Buttigieg has spoken. Yep. And also join the subreddit. We've got an amazing subreddit community that's growing every single day. There's breaking news. There are memes. There's everything. Thank you, guys. Definitely. Pete said, Joe Biden has earned his place among the best and most consequential presidents in American history. I am proud to serve under his leadership and thankful for his unwavering focus on what is best for our country. Ben Shapiro, here we go, quote tweeted and said, you should work with the VP to invoke the 25th Amendment since he is clearly too senile to be president. Yikes. Couldn't even get barely any likes. Someone said, you say it's Jover, I say it's just commencing. Good one. Like Kamala, just commencing. Josh Shapiro said, Ben Shapiro, I'll take, yep. Josh Shapiro said, President Biden is a patriot who has served our country honorably in the Senate as vice president and is one of the most consequential presidents in modern history. President Biden has got an incredible amount done to move our country forward, defend our democracy, and protect real freedom. Someone said, I really like Kinzinger, but I still see him as a registered Republican. You should see Adam Kinzinger as pro-democracy over anything. Honestly, it feels like right now, the parties have split up, and it's less about like Republican, Democrat. It's more about, are you pro-democracy and pro-establishment versus anti-democracy or anti-establishment? Because somebody like Adam Kinzinger and I have more in common, even though Adam Kinzinger is a Republican, we have more in common when it comes to democracy and January 6th and all of these things than somebody like Kinzinger and a MAGA Republican. Adam Kinzinger is closer to us in politics than he is to Donald Trump. Adam Kinzinger is closer to us than he is to Trump. So because we are pro-democracy and the far right people are not pro-democracy. Sometimes even the super far left people are not pro-democracy. Have you guys ever met like a communist far left person who wants to overthrow America and thinks that a country like China has a better system? They exist. Republicans have more institutional power, but the people on the far left also exist. They just do. Yes, Sarah Longwell, Donald Trump is too old to be president. Everybody should be tweeting and posting, Donald Trump is too old. Why would they choose somebody so old? I just don't get it. Yeah, my tweet has 400 likes so far, which is a decent amount of me saying, why would the Republicans nominate someone so old? I just don't get it. All of my Gen Z friends think Donald Trump is way too old to be president, which is it's just so funny how easily we can reframe it just like that. Thank you, Space Karen. Wow, imagine this. They choose Mayor Pete as VP and Kamala as president. Then we have a black female president and a gay VP. This will make them Roblox themselves in Minecraft. Could you imagine how much Republicans would freak out if we had a black female president and a gay VP? Yeah. They would call it the DEI ticket. That's what they would call it. Right? I really like the idea of having Adam Kinzinger as VP. Number one, Adam Kinzinger is smart and rational. But number two, Adam Kinzinger can appeal to all of the Nikki Haley moderates. Like Adam Kinzinger, I know this is a pipe dream. They're not going to choose a Republican that is too like Aaron Sorkin-esque. It's like we're in the West Wing. But I genuinely think somebody like Adam Kinzinger would win over a lot of moderates. You guys see where I'm coming from there, right? The moderates would love someone like that. John, thank you for the donation. Adam always has good content. Thank you. The Trump campaign is probably freaking out right now. Aaron Parnas said, the contrast in this election is clear. Democrats are going to nominate a former prosecutor. Republicans have nominated a convicted felon. It's time to elect Kamala Harris. I totally agree. Rick Wilson, ready for 5,000 New York Times pieces on Donald Trump's age and mental infirmity. Remember how many pieces the New York Times released about President Biden. They better be releasing those pieces about goddamn Donald Trump now. There better be so many hit pieces on Donald Trump. Old Broad with Baggets, thank you, said, as much as I hate to say it, if we want to win the undecided and true disenfranchised Republicans, we cannot win by running a woman for president. The USA is not up for that at this stage. Thanks, Adam. I think Kamala can win, despite being a black woman. I think Kamala can still win. I don't think that is disqualifying. Could Kinzinger pull the undecided Republican votes? That is exactly my... Also, Lord have mercy, Kinzinger would be so perfect because he could prosecute the case on January 6th so perfectly. Could you imagine Kinzinger, who served on the January 6th committee, pulling all of those Republicans who kind of had a bad taste left in their mouth from January 6th, but they can't quite put their finger on it? They can't quite put their finger on why January 6th left them with a bad taste, but it did. Adam Kinzinger could explain why, and he could validate their beliefs. He could allow that permission structure to be there. Thank you for the donation, Centuron. Maybe we will still win, but I will miss Joe Biden. I will too. Joe Biden being done with politics after this term is kind of sad. Josh Shapiro could get us Pennsylvania. Absolutely. We gotta back Kamala. Yep. We're backing Kamala. I don't think her being... Listen, I think Kamala Harris being the vice president to a historically effective president will outweigh her being a black woman. A prosecutor is not winning. Kinzinger would be a great choice. Cross parties to save democracy. Yep. I think Kinzinger would be a great choice, but I think it's a pipe dream. Joe Walsh said, Joe Biden just did something that Donald Trump is humanly incapable of doing. He put his country first. Thank you so much for the $5 donations. Those literally mean the world to me. When I'm live streaming, those mean the world to me. It really helps me continue going. Yujiro Hanma said, sorry if I said that wrong. Side tangent, how viable would a coalition government be? I've been reading too much World War Z. Yeah. That's a good book, not a good movie, though. You are a smart young man. If Biden supports her, I do too. Democrats for the win. Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris has the most name recognition, so it makes the most sense. Let's not let her being a black woman become the next Biden is too old. I agree, absolutely. We shouldn't harp on it too much. I'm just saying I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think most people will care too much. Yeah. I think Americans might be past that. I don't think it matters. I mean, we voted the Biden ticket. People voted the Biden ticket. 81 million people voted for Kamala Harris in a way in 2020. The haters said I couldn't do it, and they were correct. Honestly, great call from the haters, and someone put President Biden. Come on, too soon. Wow, Republicans are running a 78-year-old convicted felon for president. Big yikes. Big yikes. Thank you, DCB. That is the framing we need to use. Everybody, if you have a Republican coworker or a Republican friend or family member, which everybody probably has one Republican in their life tangentially, next time you see them, be like, why are you guys running such an old person? You really want someone so old to be serving? Also, a really good gotcha question. Thank you so much for the donations, guys. Biden puts U.S. first. Trump puts Trump first, and he is way too old. Exactly. Trump puts himself over everything else. I'm not going to pretend I know if Biden dropping out was the best decision. Everyone volunteer, and for those who don't vote, and get those who don't want to vote to vote. Yep. It's all about turnout. Guys, this is all about a game of turnout now. That's all it is. Thank you, Sarah. Magdalena Carmichael, thank you. Snarky Sharky, thank you. Livy said, I need help being talked off the ledge. I'm a black woman in Texas. I'm absolutely terrified. There are so many things we can do, Livy. Think about it. We have 4 months. We have 4 or maybe about 3.5 months to phone bank, to text people, mobilize, door knock. Make sure that your friends have a plan to vote, your friends and family. James Medlock said, remember, now we pivot to not mentioning Kamala's sterling left-wing voting record and her cool Marxist dad, and instead loudly say she's a cop who will lock up all the criminals. It's time to win this election. So, they're kind of memeing right here. They're kind of joking, but it is actually a valid strategy. What they're saying is that we need to distance Kamala from her far-left father, which is kind of a meme. Her dad, it's a Marxist meme with her dad, and that she had a left-wing voting record, and show that she can be the centrist. I know that a lot of people hate centrism. Centrism isn't always cool, but right now, democracy is on the line, and we need to build the largest coalition possible. And if that means branding Kamala Harris as a hard-on-crime person, then do it. Right? Let me ask you guys this question. Would you guys brand her as hard-on-crime if that means winning the election, even if we disagree on being hard-on-crime? It's a worthy trade-off, right? Thank you so much for the donations. Jay Courier, Danielle Steele, Michael Richards. Glitchbridge said, now Trump is the old candidate. Yep, I sent out this tweet that said, why would the Republicans nominate someone so damn old? I just don't get it. Guys, I'm going to watch, you guys might hate me, but we're going to watch this one more time because this is the ad that is getting me hyped for Kamala. This is the ad. This is the ad, y'all. I'll link it in chat if you want to link this ad around.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your...
Someone said play it again. What if the rest of the live stream was just me playing that on repeat? All right. Now Trump is the old candidate. Trump may or may not have lost a piece of ear, but he lost his soul to evil 70 years ago. True. I want Mayor Pete for president so badly. We are on the path. That could happen. Star Trekker, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much for these donations, guys. It really does help me keep the stream going. It also helps me fund my channel on a day-to-day basis. Miss Scorp AZ, a lot of Trump voters went for him because they supported Sanders and felt screwed. Trump voters are not your typical Republicans. Kinzinger won't do what we think. A lot of Trump voters, people went from Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump because they were looking for somebody who could come in and shake things up. They were looking for a populist candidate who could shake up the entire system. What Kinzinger promises is, number one, stability. Number two, a rational Republican on the ticket. Number three, a return to the Mitt Romney era of Republicans, conservatives. I honestly, genuinely think a bunch of middle-of-the-road Republicans would vote for Kinzinger. Someone in this group chat, this is not my group chat, but it's went viral on Twitter. They said, holy shit, Biden out. Someone said, what? Someone said, as gay? Biden just came out as gay at 81 years old? That's kind of funny, actually. Thank you, Asian432. This country is patriarchal. It's hard for a woman to be POTUS. Somehow, the mentality of most people is backwards. We need a decent POTUS, not an orange. Biden is out as gay. That's obviously a joke. But tanned, rested, and ready. It's a picture of Jimmy Carter on his deathbed. Sorry, just time for a few memes. Someone said, I would love for Trump to be defeated by a black woman. Oh my lord, how nice would that be? Could you imagine? Black straight woman plus white gay man equals most diverse ticket in history. Very true. Might motivate new voters. And the most diverse ticket in history might motivate younger voters. Might motivate younger people, like people in my generation would want the most diverse ticket. And also, Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris could do this thing where they could drop the Israel-Palestine baggage by showing that they slightly disagree with how Biden handled it. And Biden's handling was decent, but Purple Thing said, we should do these streams regularly, if possible, to educate on how to do political canvassing until Election Day and ideas on actually good and funny memes on how to campaign best to beat Trump. I absolutely agree. I will actually write that down in my notes. Do more regular live streams to educate, research, game plan, and strategize towards defeating Trump. Do you guys like that idea? More streams, because we did a lot of Project 2025 streams, remember? We did a lot of Project 2025 streams where we researched. We have a lot of Project 2025 research. Some of you guys might not have been here for that, but that was fun. If you guys want me to do more of these streams, all I ask are two things. Number one, leave a like on the stream. Just go click the like button on the stream. Number two, go join the Mockler subreddit, because I'm really trying to build this community with all of my favorite people where we research, we debate. That's all I ask. Like the stream, go join the subreddit. The subreddit is pinned. Let me pin this in chat. Go make a post on the sub. Okay, let's keep going. Zhank Uger, Lord have mercy. You know Zhank Uger is running laps right now. Zhank Uger is so happy. He's jumping up and down, bouncing off the walls. Zhank Uger is so happy right now. He said, I want to thank Joe Biden for doing the right thing when it mattered most, but I am not moved that he has endorsed Kamala Harris. Has he been the picture of sound judgment lately? No. The delegates should pick. That's the last vestige of democracy. So Zhank Uger isn't fully happy. But honestly, at least he didn't do the I told you so thing. I thought he would be like, I told you so. In all seriousness, how do we legally just pick a new person to run since the primaries are over? Why doesn't it have to go to second place winner of the primaries? I don't understand how it works. From my understanding, Old Broad with Baggage, thank you for the donation. How it works is that Biden can pledge his delegates to VP Harris. So even though Biden won the primary, he is not officially the nominee until the Democratic National Convention. Usually, the Democratic National Convention is when all of the delegates pledge their votes to Biden. For example, just the other day, the RNC happened, and Donald Trump had Donald Trump officially became the nominee because you heard all of the delegates pledging their votes for Trump. So all Biden has to do is tell the people that were going to vote for him to vote for Kamala, or the other option is to have an open convention, which it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. An open convention would be where there's, say, for example, 5 different candidates and all of the delegates pledge their votes to different candidates. But because President Biden immediately endorsed Kamala Harris, I don't think there will be an open convention. That wouldn't make sense, right? Still alive. Will you get out there and interview undecided voters or normies on how they feel about Kamala Harris? I could absolutely do that. One of my favorite ever interviews I did was with an undecided voter who, let me find this. Wait, no. Let me find this. 1 second. On the second screen. Adam Mockler changed MAGA's mind. This was one of my favorite interactions ever. The sweetest old man. MAGA man changes his mind. Is that ad on MeidasTouch? Yeah. I linked it a few times. This is a really good interaction, y'all. And these are the voters that we need to be reaching. Here she is. These are the voters that we need to be reaching, y'all. Whoa. Could you imagine if Biden tweeted like this? If Biden sent on a tweet that said, Adam Shifty Schiff and crooked Nancy Pelosi want me to drop out of the race and endorse crack-sniffing Kamala. Jesus Christ. Let them hear this. I beat Trump in 2020 and I will do it again this year. Why is it that repeat losers always try to tell me what to do? Sad. Could you imagine? It's fake, but could you imagine if Biden tweeted like that? That would be hilarious. Okay. I want you guys to watch this really quickly. Watch this interaction with this Trump supporter. This is genuinely how I think a lot of independent voters think. I had to walk this guy through. I had to hold this guy's hand for him to understand what threat Donald Trump poses.
But I was a Trumper, but I think it's time to change.
He was a Trumper. He was a Trump supporter.
I'm just kind of tired of his attitude. I think he's in it for himself a little bit.
What do you think about Donald Trump being charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States?
I personally think it's a witch hunt.
You think so?
Yeah. I think they'll do anything to get rid of him because they don't like him. And I don't like the way it's going.
Do you know what he's being accused of exactly?
Well, conspiracy or just,
There's another charge. Basically, what they're accusing him of is gathering fake electors to try to certify the results in his favor in multiple states. He also called Georgia, asking him to flip the results of the election.
Right.
Do you think there's any truth in that? You did say he's all for himself. So.
I think he probably did.
So
in a roundabout way.
So if he did it, then don't you think he should be prosecuted?
Well, if they have proof, yes.
So it's not quite a witch hunt. They're just trying to gather the proof and stuff, basically.
Right.
Interesting. Did you catch Pence's speech? So this guy has no clue. This guy has no clue what he's even talking about. He had no clue about the fake elector scheme. He starts off by saying, I was a Trump supporter, but I changed my mind.
No.
Are you a fan of Mike Pence?
No.
Why not?
Because he was with Donald Trump, and I think he's unloyal.
You think he's unloyal to Donald Trump?
Yeah.
In what way?
I think he's just, now that he's away, he's bad-mouthing. Why didn't he do something while he was in there?
Well, what Donald Trump wanted him to do was overturn the results of the Democrats. So my point was, there are millions of voters in America that are like this guy, that have simply been misled into voting against their own interests, that don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know the fundamentals of politics, which is what it feels like. So there's so many people we can go out there and talk to, and if we lose our democracy because we just didn't talk to people who we disagree with like that, then yeah. Let me pull this up. Antony Blinken should run. He's a good Secretary of State with a sharp mind. Yeah, but I am just scared that I had that video on double speed. I am scared with somebody like Antony Blinken. I don't think he has the name recognition. People in chat saying I love war. I'm the one that wants Russia to stop its unjustified invasion. I'm the one that loves war. Biden drops out. We have new updates, folks. Biden often remarked that he was not as young as he used to be, doesn't walk as easily or speak as smoothly, but that he had wisdom and decades of experience which were worth a whole lot, which I actually agree. Donald Trump, let me add this to the list. Cons. We lose Joe Biden's decades of political experience, which is a good point. Wait, you guys can still see me. Someone said it's frozen. Let's get behind Kamala. Thank you, Kim. Let's get behind Kamala. We need to recognize it is tough being a female leader, female, black, and Indian leader who will need huge support. She is smart and tough, which will threaten a certain group of people. Yep. And one of the largest voting groups in America, unfortunately, is who she'll threaten, which is like just white men who don't have college educations. Anthony Blinken should run. Thank you for the $5. Will Biden do anything to the Supreme Court with his newly given superpowers before he leaves office? He might find a way to neuter the Supreme Court or to reform the Supreme Court, but he's not going to do anything completely radical. I don't think he's going to be completely reshape the way the court works. Okay, just to run you guys down a recap of the pros and cons of President Biden dropping out, just so we're all on the same page. And then if anybody has anything to add to this, just let me know. Biden drops out. Biden will remain president, but is bowing out of the 2024 presidential race. President Biden has officially endorsed his VP, Kamala Harris. VP Harris is the only one that can tap into the campaign's massive war chest. Pros: VP Harris can successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump. The age attack is nullified by a younger candidate. A new VP will allow us to appeal to different demographics. For example, if we choose Shapiro, he could win us Pennsylvania. This could excite some younger voters. MAGA has less time to build up dirt on the candidate. Harris will roll through Trump if a second debate happens. Trump is the old one now. We can frame the race as prosecutor versus criminal. Boom. Kamala Harris is now running against the oldest nominee for president of the United States in American history. Please stop with the coconut tree shit. You're going to have to get used to it. I'm sorry. The coconut is not going away. What about that AOC video that not all Democrats stand behind her? Yeah, AOC did raise some good points. Let's just hope that we can all coalesce. Yeah, what AOC was basically saying is that all of the people calling on Biden to drop out don't even have a consensus on who they would jump to. If you guys saw the AOC video, that was basically her point summarized. She's like, all of these people are publicly calling for Biden to drop out, but they don't even have... Okay, so the cons for Biden dropping out, and I'm sure the cons list is way bigger. We can expand this. We lose the incumbency advantage. Keith Louder said, Adam, why act like this? What are you talking about? Act like what? Are you the one that's been spamming in my chat that I'm pro-war? Oh, you're the one that said, stop saying threat to democracy. Keith, if you want to hop on my stream and debate me on whether or not Trump is a threat to democracy, I would totally be down. Donald Trump has repeatedly, in 12 different ways, tried to steal the last election. You probably don't even know about the John Eastman fake elector scheme. You probably don't even know about all of the ways that Donald Trump directly led to January 6th happening. I hate when people are like, stop saying Trump is a threat to democracy. He absolutely is. Kevin Waters said, Harris and Whitmer, the raper versus the women. As much as I love Gretchen Whitmer, I think 2 women on a ticket would not be good. Because of, sorry, let me rephrase that. 2 women on a ticket would not be good because we would alienate large demographics. I'm not saying that 2 women wouldn't be good because it's 2 women. I would totally vote for Harris and Whitmer. Whitmer is too silly. Yeah, you risk alienating certain demographics. I'm about to pull in friend of the show, Jack Cocchiarella. Before I do, make sure you leave a like on this stream, and make sure you go join the Adam Mockler subreddit. right there. Give me 1 second here. What's up?
How we doing?
How you doing, homie?
This is my first time streaming, so
all good. We'll go
there's
easy.
No one
on
I'd
you.
rather be here with.
Hell yeah, my chat's really mean, but I'll tell them to go easy on you. They'll just tear you apart.
I'm sure they will, because at this moment right now, I just came back. Well, I was coming back from a run when the news was announced, and so I still look like a mess, but that's okay, because that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is this is the biggest story of the past 50 years that this is happening.
We are living through history right now. First of all, give me your main reactions. I'm going to link your YouTube in the chat. Everybody go check out Jack's YouTube channel.
That's very sweet.
He does great work. You've been growing really quickly lately. Yeah.
We've been building something cool. My first reaction was a mix of a bit of disappointment that we weren't going to have the opportunity to see President Biden beat Donald Trump again. The second emotion right after, they all kind of came at once. Mm-hmm. The second emotion was, if he's doing this, it's because he knows it's right.
Yeah.
And he knew that he was the only person who could beat Donald Trump in 2020. And if he is making this decision and immediately endorsing Kamala Harris, it's because he thinks she is the only person who can beat him right now. And that's the most important thing in this moment. And I trust his judgment. And then my third immediate thought was, he's a felon, she's a prosecutor.
Yep.
What a perfect message to go forward on, is that she's had historic accomplishments with President Biden. This administration, the Biden-Harris administration, has been the most successful in 60 years?
Yep.
50? Just incredibly historic across the board. And in the 2 years in which they were passing legislation most, and that they were having the most fights in the House, the most fights in the Senate, she was breaking ties as the most successful legislative vice president in history.
Yep.
So this is someone who has the background to make the case against Donald Trump. This is someone who has the background to be an incredible president. She's been second in command for the past 3.5, almost 4 years now. She knows the job. She has learned under the best president of my lifetime. So if I'm going to trust anyone, it's going to be her. And then I started thinking about, okay, possible vice presidential candidates. Where is your head at there?
Where my head's at, we ran a poll in my chat. We did sort of like a tournament where we had like Mayor Pete versus Mark Kelly versus all these people. Mayor Pete won every single time, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think they'll do that. I just want somebody who can win the Midwest. I want somebody who can kind of pull her strengths. So she's from California. She's a black woman. We probably want, it sounds bad, but we want a white male, maybe from the Midwest, so we can kind of get that demographic. But yeah, you made a lot of good points about, just to really quickly touch back before we go back to VP, I think the idea that Kamala Harris can successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump in a way that President Biden even couldn't as a function of his age, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that. We've talked a lot over the past few weeks, and what I kept telling you is all I want is somebody to go out there and just explain the fake elector scheme, explain why Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. And as good of a president as President Biden is, he's failed to do that, number one. Number two, I even have the Bidenisms. Number one, that's number one. And number two,
I know, I was listening too.
by the way, he always says that. And by the way, and then he whispers a little bit. But I also like the idea of
we're gonna win.
Yeah, I ain't going anywhere. That's what he always does. And then a week later, he's gone. But no. But to bring it back around, VP Harris, hopefully President Harris, can run on the amazing legislative accomplishments of their first term. Maybe even drop some of the Israel-Palestine baggage that President Biden has. Also, why would the Republicans nominate someone so old? Why is their candidate so damn old? I don't get it.
I don't really get that. I don't know why anyone would ever nominate someone so old to run for president.
So damn
it just
old.
kind of seems, and especially with a vice president who is so inexperienced.
True.
JD Vance, he's been in the Senate for not even 2 years.
Yeah.
This is someone completely ill-equipped to govern. And I'm not going to do too many plugs, but I did a video on my channel this morning. Dr. Gupta, he was a member of the Biden administration, well-renowned doctor, was talking about, we don't yet have a medical report explaining to us what have been the effects of what happened to Donald Trump. He was explaining that when the power of a bullet that is in an AR-15 is that close to your head, just the kinetic energy of it, and now I'm getting real technical about things I don't exactly know, but I'm quoting him, so it's fine. the kinetic energy of it can do real and significant damage to the soft tissue around your skull and can potentially impact your brain. And, I saw a lot of Republicans arguing in my comments saying he was walking around, he was playing golf the next day, he's completely fine. But what Dr. Gupta was trying to explain is that it's not about the day after or even the week after. We can see this damage in his inability to balance maybe some issues with his cognitive ability, which we already currently see in Donald Trump, playing out months and years down the line. And so for Donald Trump to be so old and so in cognitive decline and have J.D. Vance, who, one, we can't trust anyway, because Donald Trump can't even trust him, not to call him America's Hitler, which is true. It just shows how flawed this ticket is.
What do you think about the idea? Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think Kamala Harris might be the perfect person to step up because of the prosecutor fact, because of the fact that she can win, like, the women in America. She can prosecute the case against abortion as well. Like, honestly, I don't even know how many times I've heard President Biden go out there and say the reason why Roe v. Wade was overturned is because Donald Trump appointed these conservative Supreme Court justices. There were polls saying that 20% of Americans think that that was Biden's fault or something like that. So she'll be able to go out there and articulate why.
And that just shows the information economy that we exist in, and why your show in educating people is so incredibly important. Is because there are people who believe, and I want to say no fault of their own, because it is kind of no fault of their own. It is the fault of the media. They believe that Roe v. Wade was overturned because of President Biden, and they just don't know that. And so now there's no way they believe that the vice president was the reason. A black woman who has fought for reproductive freedoms. She was the first vice president in history to visit an abortion clinic. That is historic in its own right. I think we'll probably see more of that of her on the campaign trail. And another benefit of this is obviously, a disappointing day for all of us who love President Biden. And I want to get to him more in just a second.
Yeah.
But we now have someone in Vice President Harris who we're probably not going to see a lot of legislation passed in the next 109 days. Donald Trump is going to be, I don't know what I'm allowed to say on this stream, but he's going to be sitting his fat ass on a golf cart and, lying about his score for the next 109 days.
Oh, yeah.
When Kamala Harris, because she's the vice president and because she doesn't have a lot to do technically, her job doesn't require a lot now that there's not going to be any tie-breaking votes in the Senate, she will be waking up at 5 a.m., going to bed at 1 a.m. She's going to be on every radio show. She's going to be doing every television interview. She's going to be in every campaign stop. That, Air Force Two is just going to be constantly in the air, on the ground, in the air, on the ground. She's going to be going around making the case. And, I said I wanted to talk about President Biden a little bit. It was difficult that he wasn't able to articulate the case against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of that, and you and I have talked about the media a lot, is because every interview he did became a referendum on him and his age, because it was the obsession of the media.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of him being able to talk about Project 2025, he was pushed on his record. And obviously any president would be defensive of their record, especially if they had President Biden's record and which is so strong and historic. And so it became about him defending himself so much and less so talking about what the future is and the path that he wanted to build forward, just because of the way that the media was approaching him. When he does a rally and he's electrifying the crowd because he's so great in front of people, then he could articulate the case more so. But that just wasn't the media environment that he was existing in. But let's talk more about VP.
A few things.
I want to get more thoughts.
Yeah, I want to get to a few things in chat. Well, first of all, to touch on one of your points, could you imagine a candidate like Kamala Harris who's able to go into the lion's den, say on Fox News, for example, goes and does a town hall on Fox News and explains to Republican voters, she's like, hey, you guys should look up the Brad Raffensperger phone call. I always go back to the Brad Raffensperger phone call. I'm obsessed with it. It's bad. It's bad, yeah. And hey, Donald Trump on January 6th tweeted out, Mike Pence didn't do what needed to be done, and Adam Kinzinger told me this point, actually. You can directly find an acceleration of violence when they tweet that out. Little flex, Adam Kinzinger. Yeah, it's just funny, but we were talking about him. We were talking, just my buddy, my best. He's just chilling over there, yeah. We were talking about him earlier because people want him to be VP, because I do think, well, first of all, they would never actually choose a Republican VP across ticket like that. No, it never happened unless you're in an Aaron Sorkin show like the West Wing. But
see him in the New York Times saying they should nominate Romney.
Romney, yeah, he was like.
For anyone asking, I seem to be looking down. I'm looking at my phone. I'm trying to read this chat and see what everyone's having to say.
It's going fast. Let me drop the link one more time. I had at least 5 people say they went and subbed to you.
I'm seeing Jamie Raskin now.
Someone said
people
Raskin.
saying, for
What do you think
VP.
about Jamie Raskin for VP?
I think that Jamie Raskin has a lot of unfinished business in the House. Jamie Raskin could have run for Senate in Maryland. I'm sure if he got the call and was asked to run and was asked to serve, he would absolutely. But I just don't think, if we're thinking about this electorally, and I think that's where we're coming from, it's how do we win? And that's number one. That's the most important thing.
Shapiro? Sorry to cut you off, but
No. I think it's probably going to be Shapiro or Bashir. I think Shapiro's strengths are what an incredible communicator. I see a lot of Joe Biden and Josh Shapiro. Of course, I see a lot of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as well, but just an incredibly empathetic person.
PA would be locked down. If we could win PA based off of Shapiro, oh my God. It's so much weight off of our shoulders.
And it's funny, I've been seeing all the polls that I saw leading up to this decision in which President Biden was trailing Donald Trump. It seemed like, although they were really, really scary polls in which it, like, some people were saying, oh, is Virginia in play for Donald Trump? Is New Jersey in play for Donald Trump? It still seemed like both Wisconsin and Michigan, President Biden was keeping it really close, if not winning. And so I feel like those are the states we are strongest in of all the blue wall of the battleground states that are going to be most important, those three to pass 270. I think that we can have tremendous success, of course, in Pennsylvania if it's Josh Shapiro. But where I think Andy Bashir would be great is he can say, like, we want to pretend, like the media and Republicans want to pretend that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the Republican Party are now about unity just because he gave like 10 minutes of a speech that was kind of about unity and then started attacking Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
But if you have a governor of one of the reddest states, a Democratic governor of one of the reddest states who said, our electorate came together and said, we are going to protect reproductive freedoms. We have differences of opinions on different policies. This is a very red state, but I was reelected because I govern for all people in my state. And I know the people in my state care about reproductive freedom, no matter what MAGA wants to say. I think that's a great message for Andy Bashir to take on the road and prosecute that case, because it is, that and democracy are the most important issues in this election. And I think, maybe you want a candidate who brings out a different side. Like you said this in the open, like when I first got in onto the stream, we might want someone who brings out, I don't want to say anywhere where Vice President Harris lacks in strength, but if we doubled down on that strength, I'm about to make a plug of something I really care about, like my San Francisco 49ers, our defensive line. Instead of saying, wow, we had such a great defensive line, let's focus on, building out more of the offensive line or the receiving core, which is already great. I'm not going to get into that. We just doubled down and made it even better. And I think doubling down on the most important issue in this election would be maybe a smart play. But I love Shapiro. I also love Pete. Pete on Bill Maher. You did a segment on that.
Yeah, Pete was great. Yeah, he's really good. He's exactly what we need. Man, now that we have so many Democrats that can just like explain the case against Donald Trump, it is getting me sort of excited. I think it's sort of, so we actually made a pros and cons list on my stream. I don't know if you saw it, but because we were just writing, I'll read off some of them to you. So right when Biden dropped out, everyone was in my chat freaking the hell out, and I said, let's calm down and let's make a pro and cons list. Like let's just chill out, figure out what to do or what's going to happen. So pros, VP Harris can successfully prosecute the case against Donald Trump, right? That's the obvious one. The age attack is nullified by a younger candidate, obvious.
Flipped.
Yep, it's flipped actually, yeah. The next one actually says, or a few ones down, it says, Kamala Harris is now running against the oldest nominee for president of the United States in American history, which is awesome. We can frame the race as a prosecutor versus a criminal. It could excite some young voters. A new vice president will allow us to appeal to different demographics. So before, our VP was from California, Kamala Harris. But now, for example, if it's like Shapiro, that's pretty fire. That's pretty good, right?
Shapiro, Pete, that's the Midwest. I like it, yeah.
Yeah, the Midwest. It helps with the Midwest a lot. Let's see. Harris will roll through Trump if a second debate happens. Somebody in chat wanted me to say, MAGA has less time to build up dirt on the new candidate, but on the flip side, a new candidate could have dirt that they find that we don't know about. So what if Shapiro, I said this earlier, what if he has like some weird shirtless picture from 2013 of like, I don't even know why that would be a scandal, but like some scandal. Like he used to put his dog on his car roof or something like that. Like
he's Mitt Romney?
Yeah, he's literally just, but no, like what if there's something that we don't know? Okay, so the cons, really quickly, just to wrap this up, my rambling. We lose the incumbency advantage when Biden drops out. But the thing is,
That's not an advantage right now.
It's
globally.
not. The incumbency advantage was only an advantage in a time when people preferred stability and they thought that the candidate that was in was stable, helped with stability. But now it is like, does President Biden represent stability, or do people want what we have now? It feels like people aren't happy. Sexism or racism could lose us votes. Actually, I'm not as worried about that one. Everyone in my chat was saying she's a black woman, it's not going to be good, but it's like, people will get over that once they realize about Donald Trump. 4 months is not a lot of time to launch a national campaign from basically scratch, not completely scratch. Introducing a new VP candidate risks new dirts. Joe Biden's name recognition is lost, but almost not really, because Kamala is closely tied.
It's going to be the biggest story in the world for the next week, 2 weeks, and she'll raise infinite amounts of money.
Infinite amounts.
I'm less worried about that, yeah.
What if they made it a huge spectacle? What if they took a note out of Donald Trump's book and they kind of manipulate the media a bit by making this a massive spectacle, getting a huge stage? Let's just say, like, in a dream reality. This is a dream reality. Taylor Swift sings a song. Did I already tell you this? We have 60,
No, you didn't.
We have
I like
60
it, though.
million people. This is just like a dream, obviously. We have 60 million people watching live. Biden walks up. He says, I'm going to step down. Immediately, while we still have 60 million people, before we lose anyone, because you know how people will turn off everything very quickly, like the debate. Then Harris walks on stage and goes, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. On January 2nd, 2021, Donald Trump made a phone call to Brad Raffensperger, back to the Raffensperger fucking phone call. And then, when that didn't work, Donald Trump held a rally at the Ellipse. He made everybody walk to the Like, she just literally prosecutes the case in front of 50 million people. Why has nobody done that yet? Biden had the chance during the debate. He kind of blew it. I don't want to rehash the whole debate thing, but yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that, Biden had agreed to a second debate that was going to be on the 27th of July. Am I wrong?
No, it's September 7th, I believe.
It's September 7th?
I think so.
Anyway,
yeah.
It's close. It's soon. We're going to have a debate. And, the 24-hour news cycle is more like a 24-minute news cycle.
Yep.
And I bet by the time this stream is over, the media is going to find something else to talk about. But I still think people are going to be so excited and interested to watch. With the CNN debate, I don't know the history of all debate viewership, but it was one of the highest viewed debates in history, right? It was 50 million people, and that was just on CNN. And so I can't even begin to imagine how many people are going to tune in and watch.
Oh, the first debate was one of the lowest viewed, I think, actually.
Oh, really? Oops. Well, I don't know. Maybe this one will be higher.
Point stands, though. Keep going.
Well, it was certainly talked about a lot and covered a lot.
Oh, yeah. The views, the clips after were terrible.
But I just think that, I keep thinking of this from the media perspective and the type of questions that Kamala Harris is going to be asked and answered. In a 90-minute debate, how much of it will be spent? The same questions, like, let's break it down. 45 minutes are going to go to Trump. He's going to ramble. He's going to look terrible. He's going to talk about sharks. The other 45 minutes, the type of questions that will be asked of Kamala Harris are, why do you have the strength and ability and leadership to become president? And then she'll just get to talk for 2 to 3 minutes about her incredible record, her incredible past.
Oh, yeah.
Make that case to voters. And then she'll be asked, well, what's your case against Donald Trump? And then she'll just get to do, he's a felon. Brad Raffensperger call. Shout out to you. And I'm a prosecutor, so on and such, and just lay out this case. I feel like, and why I'm so excited about this, and, there's the question about, is 109 days enough? And like I said, she doesn't have to do her day job all that much right now.
Yep.
And so she'll have all of the time in the world to travel the country. But every single question that she's asked, unlike the question that we're being asked of President Biden about his age, every question is just going to be the most perfect setup to say why she should be president and why Donald Trump shouldn't be. It's not, in my mind, and maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe the media will do what they always do and fuck this thing up. But I just feel like it's going to be so much of, why are you prepared for the job? And she has a million reasons why. Why is Donald Trump ill-prepared? Why do you think you can beat him? Why should people vote against him? What is the case against him? And she has articulated that, we've seen over the past 2 weeks, so incredibly well that she is ready to go out and just kick ass nonstop.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm so ready. Actually, it's sort of getting me re-energized. Did you see that ad that Meidas posted about, like, she needs to replay this ad where it's basically I wish I could pull it up right now.
From 2020? I actually just did a
2020.
video on that.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's Kamala Harris is the anti-Trump?
Yeah.
I just did a video on that, yeah.
It was basically something, one of my favorite lines of it is like, she prosecutes sexual predators. He is a sexual predator. Yeah, it's so fire. And that's a good framing. It's honestly fresh. It's good framing. The question is, okay, the whole question of this election is voter turnout. It's all going to come down to which side can turn out more voters. And that seems kind of obvious, but right now, with this election in particular, can Kamala energize the base more so than President Biden? I think is question number one. Somebody said they watched your last video of you breaking down the Kamala thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who is that? I want to say their name and say
Tom Jacobs.
Tom Jacobs. Tom Jacobs, thank you for watching the last video. I appreciate you.
But someone said Mockler Cocchiarella 2024. For real.
That's the ticket.
We're too inexperienced.
I'll happily be your VP.
Hell yeah. Or we could co. But you're a Republican now, so no.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, he's not a Republican. He's not a Republican.
And is that the Aaron Sorkin version? I leave my very
real
left-wing liberal beliefs to be a Republican to balance out a ticket with you of two 21-year-olds?
For real. No, Jack is actually a Democratic strategist. That was just a joke. He's worked with a lot of Democratic campaigns and organizations.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Yeah, you're a dirty lib, eating babies and like, yeah.
Someone said Harris Hunter.
Yeah.
Keep Biden on the ticket, just a different Biden.
So yeah, you can keep the same signs, you can keep the same fundraising apparatus. Biden Harris, just put Hunter Biden as the Kinzinger Cheney 2024.
Kinzinger Cheney, oh my gosh.
I
want to give a shout out to Midas Cheryl, who said, Adam, background looks excellent. I love the new background.
Thank you guys. Also in chat, guys, really quickly, just a side note. Number one, leave a like on the live stream. Number two, if you guys have any suggestions, we're building out this new background literally tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to the store right after this, and I'm buying new bookshelves. I'm buying some greenery. It's gonna be a really sweet background. We've been figuring it out, but let's keep this rolling. Let's keep breaking down the breaking news. Let me pull up this AP article with some updates.
1 sec. Smile.
Biden
first live stream, have to document it.
First live stream, hell yeah. And it's a historic one. This is actually historic. There were just some new CNN updates that popped up.
Oh, really?
Somebody said add ferns behind you, add bookshelves. We're gonna, yeah, guys, if you ever have any ideas, let me ask you guys. Sorry to go off track. Do you guys like this background more than the red background that I have, where it's like the red? What do you think, Jack? You like it more or less?
I like it. I think that you're gonna add a little bit more, little sauce and stuff to it, but it definitely highlights you.
Oh yeah,
I've got kind of a less professional background. I have my Legos and I have a plant. People on my channel keep asking me, and I guess I probably should respond in the comments to this. This is not a marijuana plant.
Yeah, people keep asking if it's a weed plant.
They do, and I'm like, no, but
it's actually a coke plant. Close. You guys were close.
Just got it. Just brought it in.
So people are saying they think this is a lot more cozy, but this background has a lot more. Someone said I don't like this background. Someone said I do. After I decorate it, it'll look better. But let me read through this breaking news article. Let me just read through some of this really quickly so we can update this this stream. The flickering is something with my camera that I have to fix. But all right, so I want to make sure everybody's caught up on the breaking news since we're live. So let me just read through this and we can break it down.
Oh, before you do, someone in the chat asked what my channel name is. It is just Jack Cocchiarella, my last name. It's really difficult to spell. Show.
The link is in chat right now.
Oh, thank you.
Go subscribe. Okay. Link in chat. Let's keep going. Vintage political stuff. I was thinking, like, what about a Kennedy poster? Like, up there, like a Kennedy, Obama, Hope poster.
Like that.
All right, moving on. Sorry for the sidetrack, y'all in chat. So, Congressional Hispanic Caucus chair endorses Harris. Somebody said, Adam, I hate that lamp. Okay, now I'm done. Endorses Harris. Congressional Hispanic Caucus endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president on Sunday. Berrigan described Biden as, quote, one of the most consequential presidents in American history and said Democrats would work to ensure his legacy is secure. You said you like the new background, accept the light. We'll fix it all. Here's what Harris's schedule looks like. We'll read that in a second. Former President Barack Obama praises Biden in statement. He's a patriot of the highest order. Former President Barack Obama expressed his support of President Joe Biden. He said, quote, I know Joe has never backed down from a fight. For him to look at the political landscape and decide that he should pass the torch to a new nominee is surely one of the toughest in his life. But I know he wouldn't make this decision unless he believed it was right for America. Very true. That is what you said when you hopped on. You echoed Obama's sentiments, or he stole it from you, Jack. We will be navigating uncharted waters. I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges, seeking unity with a new nominee. The statement does not include an endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris or any other Democrat. I assume that Obama is going to hold out on endorsing anyone, just until they get everything figured
Honestly,
out.
if I could butt in for a second.
Yeah.
I was talking earlier about the media moving on to things very quickly. I'm seeing an outpouring of support from different senators. I saw Senator Tammy Baldwin obviously endorsed. We saw the House Progressive Caucus, the House Black Caucus, and I think that is great to see this huge outpouring of support. Bill and Hillary Clinton endorsed Kamala Harris, but I think that if President Obama were to endorse her today, it would just kind of, people would see it for a second and then move on. I don't really have an issue. Of course, I think it's time to unite around Kamala Harris immediately, but I don't have an issue with the praising statements of Joe Biden, the supportive statements of Kamala Harris, but for maybe our really, really big Democratic leaders, let's wait until a day from now or 2 days from now for Barack Obama to announce his endorsement, or Nancy Pelosi to announce hers, or Chuck Schumer to announce his, just so that we continue to keep up this media narrative of every day there's more support for Kamala Harris instead of just this huge big wave one day and then we immediately move on. Because I just think that'd be better. But I don't know.
I absolutely agree. It's also, like I was saying earlier, I kind of touched on this. Democrats need to get better at manipulating the media. We know how the media covers things. They are so predictable. I mean, we're part of the media. It's predictable how we cover things. We obviously cover them differently than like MSNBC or CNN. But if the Democrats can sort of manipulate the media and milk them and try to get them to cover Harris more than they need to, like you were just saying with Obama, and if the Democrats could hold more big events with celebrities where you manipulate people into covering stuff, you use each event to bring Trump down. It's a very Trumpian strategy, I feel like. A very Trumpian strategy. Let me read a few more of these CNN updates.
Go for it.
Just about 5 minutes ago, Eric Swalwell voiced his full support for President Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden. Quote, I fully support Kamala Harris, and in fact, she's been trained by the best. True. Joe Biden was a vice president himself. And did you write these remarks, Jack? Because this is exactly what you said. Joe Biden was a vice president himself, and so she probably had the best mentor to work under, and she's tough, she's smart, she's real, she's everything that we need as we go up against somebody who would take away every freedom. A bunch of governors lined up and praised Biden. People like Roy Cooper, J.B. Pritzker, Kathy Hochul. Did I say that right? Josh Shapiro. Hochul? Okay. Andy Bashir. My pronunciations are always the weakest. 8 minutes ago, Trump issues fundraising appeal after Biden drops out. Former President Donald Trump issued a fundraising appeal after Biden dropped out. They are already trying to take advantage of this. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the donations. Sorry, I need to read a few of these. No, I lost.
Yeah, let me read the chat.
I lost
see what's going on.
Donations. Alicia Jones, thank you. Someone said something that I lost, but the lights are great. Just put a palm tree. Y'all, in about 2 days, this background will look completely different. Also, please make sure you're leaving a like on the stream. Leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. It helps a lot. Democrat delegates react to Biden dropping out. Democratic convention delegates are weighing in on their initial reaction to the news of President Biden's exit. CNN spoke to 5 Democratic delegates on the condition of anonymity to speak candidly about the pivotal moment for the party. One California delegate told CNN he's relieved and excited after hearing Biden withdrew from the race. The delegate, who wanted Biden to step aside after seeing his performance in last month's debate, said he hoped VP Harris would replace Biden at the top of the ticket, calling her the strongest candidate. Thank you for the donation, Kimberly. It means more than you know. It helps. Every donation helps. Adam, just don't put a cat and its stoop in the background. Yeah, I won't. Honestly, maybe I'll put a dog bed. An alley cat. There's a bunch of alley cats back there.
Really?
Maybe I'll put a dog bed for my dog.
Oh, get the dog on stream.
Yeah, Denver. I don't know where he is. Don't Dogs had to be put away because they were barking earlier. People in chat were like, why are they barking?
It's my German Shepherd.
Yo, guys, the Adam Mockler subreddit is where some of this news broke. Like, literally, when AP News posted the article, it was on my subreddit 30 seconds later, so go join the subreddit and chat. It's so much fun. It's so much fun in the subreddit. We're building a really tight community. House Speaker previously warned GOP could file legal challenges if Democrats replace Biden. House Speaker Mike Johnson warned earlier Sunday that Republicans could likely file legal challenges against any attempts to replace Biden. That would be so annoying. Quote, I think they have legal hurdles in some of these states, and it'll be litigated, I would expect, on the grounds that they'll have to sort that through. On the ground, they'll have to sort that through. Okay. What are your thoughts after some of those breaking news updates? Thoughts on any legal challenges? Are they toothless?
Once I'm looking at a post from Jared Moskowitz. It looks like Donald Trump in 2011 donated to Kamala Harris's
He did.
DA campaign.
He absolutely did. That would be a good...
funny.
She can be like, if you want someone that's tough on crime, I'm so tough on crime that Donald Trump donated to me. Yeah. And if you don't want him to be called America's Hitler, his own VP called him America's Hitler. But yeah, we talked about this a little bit. I keep repeating this, but we keep putting out these J.D. Vance quotes like it's the end of the world. But honestly, like it'll be the end of the world. Oh, he called him maybe America's Hitler. But it's actually a good strategy from the Republicans because a lot of Republican Americans have gone through the same journey as J.D. Vance of being quite hesitant to support Donald Trump, not really liking him, to slowly accepting him. So a lot of these Republican voters can almost empathize with J.D. Vance's journey.
Yeah, and I think Trump really likes, and I've done a lot of reading on this, I think he really likes the idea that J.D. Vance is a convert to Trumpism, that he's a guy who came out against him and then says that he is now supportive of Donald Trump because of what a great president he was. I'm putting that in quotes for anyone who doesn't see.
Yeah.
But I think he likes that, you know, Donald Trump is a showman at heart, and that's what he cares about most is media and television and all of that stuff and celebrity. And I really think that he likes that he went to Yale and then he wrote a best-selling novel, and then that novel was made into a big Hollywood movie that I think is trending right now on Netflix. I watched it. I didn't like it. No offense to Ron Howard, who made the movie, but didn't love it. Certainly don't like it now. But I think that that's one of the reasons that Trump really likes him also, aside from the fact that it is trying to, kind of like you said, playing into the fact that there's a lot of Republicans who didn't like Donald Trump in 2016, but then decided that they vote for him. And then after January 6th, of course, they should feel hesitant and they shouldn't be voting for him again. But there's definitely more of that hesitancy than there probably was even in 2020 before January 6th. And so, yeah, maybe that is largely what J.D. Vance represents to him. But what I've been talking about a lot of my show, sorry to go on this long rant, but what I've been talking about a lot of my show is that while the J.D. Vance coming out against Trump before, they kind of want to construe it as, oh, look, now he supports Donald Trump. What I think it is more is to say, if we're going to do the thing where it's Donald Trump is so old and this is the next wave of the MAGA party, the MAGA movement, it's J.D. Vance, I think it's important to say, if J.D. Vance really believes what he says about Donald Trump, and we know he does, and he's been still saying it up until very recently, then look at the lack of character in both of these men. That, of course, Donald Trump is a pathological liar. He's a narcissist. He's diagnosable as a bad, bad person. He has no character, but neither does his running mate. J.D. Vance was willing to abandon his morals, his beliefs, whatever he had to chase power in the same way that Donald Trump does. These two are a mirrored image of each other. If you think that Donald Trump is bad, look at the guy who came out against him and is now supporting him. Like, he is encouraging what he knows is wrong. And so, while maybe it's not the greatest case in the world against Trump and doesn't maybe move people all that much, and I think that may be reflected in focus group polling and stuff like that, I still think it is important to show what J.D. Vance's lack of character is, and I think it perfectly does that.
Absolutely. Let me read a few chats really quickly. When reporters ask Biden about dropping out, he can point to Trump being a rapist, convicted felon, and more. He doesn't have to watch what he says. He can back Kamala by highlighting the Trump dirt. Yep, he can back Kamala, but he does have to be careful with what he says sometimes because it can be connected to Kamala very easily. You know, they are still like hand in hand. A source for how women in politics are viewed, even in this party, is AOC herself. She spoke on it before. Also, anything Trump says about Harris's race or gender can be used against him via Project 2025. Thank you for the donations. I really appreciate both of you. Thanks, Adam, for your respect for Joe Biden. You've been respectful, unlike these other podcasts. Yeah, people would like to lunge at Joe Biden at the first chance they get. I'm sure like Cenk Uygur over at the Young Turks is freaking out on Biden, but Grando Reaper said, I was told today I can't be considered a Christian if I vote blue because Trump did so much for Christians. Trump cult is real. Trump did so much for Christians, like sleeping with a porn star while his wife was pregnant. And yeah, it's just wild. I need to make one of these posts where it's like, I'm a 21-year-old Democrat. 21. I don't know why I said 20.
You look young. You're good.
Yeah.
Keep your youth. It's important.
I'm a 16-year-old.
And I'm still voting.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's see what the chat has to say. I'm interested.
The House will stonewall any VPIC. How's everybody in chat feeling? Everybody type either excited or nervous. I can run a poll in a second, but let me just shoot out this tweet. Are you guys in chat feeling excited or nervous about this? I'm feeling pretty excited. This has honestly gotten me excited for this election.
I think people are fired up. I agree.
Both excited.
Nervous. Furious.
Why, mad?
Rob, why? I'm seeing a lot of both. Rob is pissed off.
Excited.
Trump replied on Truth Social. Did you read that? Do you want to pull it up?
Oh, Trump responded? Yeah, let me pull this up.
Yeah. Actually, let's see if I can get it.
I got it.
Would you be cool with me?
Yeah, I have it up already. It's all good. Which one? Crooked Joe just got knocked out. He's got a few statements. Go for it. Read it. I'm shooting off this tweet.
Oh, the new one is Crooked Joe just got knocked out, so now I'll have to do it a fourth time? I'm not even sure what he's referring to there.
Kamala Harris just said she will do everything in her power to unite Democratic Party and defeat Donald Trump. Is this a tweet that she posted or is she speaking?
Oh, she just posted a tweet.
Okay, let's check this out.
It was a long tweet. I thought I just saw. Oh, it was a statement that she put out. Here, it's not on her official account. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I got it. Let me read through it real first. Yeah. Oops, I went back to Trump. Really quickly, okay, Trump said, Crooked Joe Biden is the worst president by far in the history of our nation. He's done everything possible to destroy our country from our southern border to energy dominance, national security, blah, 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 cognitive demise, make America great again. Vice President Kamala Harris officially said, on behalf of the American people, I thank Joe Biden for his extraordinary leadership as president of the United States and for his decades of service to our country. His remarkable legacy of accomplishment is unmatched in modern American history, surpassing the legacy of many presidents who have served 2 terms in office. That is very true. He's gotten more done than most people who have served 2 terms. You want to read the rest so I can shoot out this tweet if you have it up?
Yes. It is a profound honor to... Is this what you...
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Left off? It is a profound honor to serve as vice president, and I am deeply grateful to the president, Dr. Biden, and the entire Biden family. I first came to know President Biden through his son, Beau. We were amazing friends from our days working together as attorneys general of our home states. As we worked together, Beau would tell me stories about his dad, the kind of father and the kind of man he was. And the qualities Beau revered in his father are the same qualities, the same values I have seen every single day in Joe's leadership as president. His honesty and integrity, his big heart and commitment to his faith and his family, and his love of our country and the American people. With this selflessness and patriotic act, President Biden is doing what he has done throughout his life of service, putting the American people and our country above everything else. I am honored to have President Biden's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. Over the past year, I have traveled across the country, talking with Americans about the clear choice in this momentous election. And that is what I will continue to do in the days and weeks ahead. I will do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party and unite our nation, to defeat Donald Trump and his extreme, you'll love this, Project 2025.
Let's go! Name drop!
We have 107 days until Election Day. Together, we will fight, and together, we will win.
I can hear her saying that, too. Together, we will fight. She's been very presidential lately. I honestly think she's going to make a great candidate. She's going to make an amazing candidate. Let's compare this to Donald Trump. Crooked Joe Biden is the worst president by far in the history of our nation. He has done everything possible to destroy our country, from our southern border to energy dominance to... Oh, I lost it. Oh, no. Whatever. We can basically just guess what he's going to say.
Something stupid.
But already, Kamala Harris is doing it right. She immediately is boosting Project 2025 on the national stage. She is immediately prosecuting the case against Donald Trump. Literally immediately.
She knows what she's doing. She's locked in. I like it. This is what it's about. This is what it's been about. This is what we were talking about.
It's money. For real.
It's so money.
I've been scrolling my Twitter feed earlier, and it's always a little bit sketchy scrolling my Twitter feed when I'm on live, because like the most random stuff pops up. Oh, you sent out a tweet while on stream? Donald Trump donated to Kamala Harris. Thank you, Debbie, for the donation. VP, oh, it says ready to serve, and it's from January 20th. Someone said, this is embarrassing for Bernie and AOC. I actually don't think so.
I disagree with that. I think Bernie and AOC were backing President Biden. And what they didn't say is that President Biden shouldn't drop out. They say it's President Biden's choice. And so for everyone, and, you know, I opened by saying, I too feel a bit of disappointment that Joe Biden is not going to serve for another 4 years because of how incredible a president he was in the last 4. But at the same time, if we would have trusted President Biden to make the decision to continue to run, I think we have to have the same level of trust in his decision not to. He doesn't get pushed around. He doesn't get, you know, no one decides for him. He made this decision himself. And so I think we should honor this decision by being as all in support of the vice president as we can be. And I think an important part of that statement that she put out was, I'm going to win the nomination. I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to win it. It's not just being given to her. Sure, President Biden has come out and endorsed her. We've seen everyone from Senator Tammy Baldwin to, I think it was just Senator Mark Kelly also endorsed the vice president. And of course, we're seeing Democratic governors get behind him or behind her, as well, of course, as President Biden. But she's still going to have to win the nomination. And I think that's really important. And I'm glad that was put in the statement, because I think there will be some hesitancy. I don't want to say a little bit of annoyance, but I think there may be some concern within the party about, is it fair? I don't know if fair is the right word. Is it right to just give her the nomination? Of course, she is the vice president, so she's next in line. But I think her going to that convention and delivering an address about why she is the best person, not only to defeat Donald Trump, but the best person equipped to be president of the United States, I think will be incredibly important, and not only bring the party together, but bring the country together. And I'm glad she's giving herself the opportunity to make that argument. And I think that, like I said about what type of questions is the media going to ask Kamala Harris over the next 107 days, you know, at least into the run-up to the convention, they will be asking her, why are you the best Democrat? And I think that's a great question. That's not a bad question. That's not an angry question. That's not a gotcha question. Then she can make the case for why she's the best Democrat. And I think that's an important thing to do. Instead of just saying, I'm the nominee, fall in line, she's saying, I support the unity that is coming behind me, and I'm going to earn it, and I'm going to win it. And I think that's great.
Also, like, I guess our biggest hope for this is going to be that our coalition can be united again. Because one of my worries, and this is what I've been telling everybody, including you the past few weeks, is that after the debate, the Democratic coalition kind of fell apart. Actually, it fell apart long before that. It fell apart after October 7th. It feels like a lot of people that are super pro-Palestine said, okay, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. My dad is Muslim. We've argued so much about whether or not he should vote for President Biden. But now, this gives us a chance to reunify our coalition, because 24 hours ago, we had the pro-Palestine people not voting for Biden. We had 50 to 60 to 70% of the Democratic Party who wanted Biden to drop out. We had the least unified coalition possible At the same time, Donald Trump secures the biggest coalition he's probably ever had after the assassination attempt. Whether you like it or not, that picture of him holding his fist up is a pretty cinematic picture. And I do think he secured far-right people, center-right people, MAGA people. I think he had the biggest coalition possible. And now Kamala Harris being our candidate gives us the opportunity to reunify that coalition. We can now have the young people we lost, maybe some of the Muslim Americans that we lost, maybe some of the center-right people that just didn't like Biden's age. I think there are a lot of Republicans who are like Nikki Haley Republicans who would vote for Biden if it wasn't for his age. If Biden were 10 years younger, there are a lot of Republicans who would have voted for him, you know?
And I think this is an important point, because Adam and I chat. Hello, everyone. I'm going to address you directly. Adam and I, to share a little behind the scenes, have talked a lot about all of this lately. And Adam knows I'm a big fan of my friend Tim Miller and the Bulwark podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of Republicans, as Adam and I have been discussing, have been coming on and saying, yeah, I would get behind Kamala Harris. They feel a little disappointed that President Biden didn't pass it off. And I'm just speaking on behalf of these people right now. They were saying that they didn't feel great that President Biden said he would be a bridge president and then maybe wasn't honoring that promise. But there's a lot of excitement already anecdotally from Republicans and really leading Republicans, never Trump Republicans, who are coming out and saying, yes, I'm extremely excited for Kamala Harris. And I think that's important. My dad was actually talking to me about a friend of his who was saying to him, I know that Donald Trump is a liar, he's a cheater, he's a fraud, but President Biden, in his opinion, was so old to him that he just didn't think he could do the job. And now what does that argument become? All the people for however long, and even if they were saying it in bad faith, they just wanted to make an argument against President Biden. And the argument that they wanted to make was, he's old, even though he's barely older than Donald Trump and is way more together than he is. Those people have to reassess and look at themselves if they are good faith actors, if they're honest brokers of this discussion and go, guess I can't call him old anymore. And Kamala Harris, extremely progressive vice president in the progressive legislation passed by Joe Biden. Again, it's so funny that it keeps coming back to this. She ran for Senate and she ran for president as a tough on crime, moderate Democrat. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why she got boxed out in the primary, because Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders had secured the left. President Biden was winning a lot of black support and moderate support. So is Pete. So is Amy Klobuchar. And so you kind of saw it broken up really quickly, and she kind of couldn't get a piece of the pie as a new Democrat in the space. But she is essentially her policy positions are very close, if not just a tiny bit more progressive than President Biden's. But who she has been defined as being her whole career is a pretty moderate Democrat who is tough on crime. It couldn't be more perfect.
Yep. Somebody in chat just asked, thank you for the donation, said, do you think MAGA will push Kamala lied to Americans? She knew Joe wasn't okay. Do you think people will buy it? I think that that's going to be some framing the Republicans try to use. Oh, Kamala hid Joe Biden's condition. But honestly, I don't think it'll stick that much. I don't think it'll stick.
If they're using that, that
means they've lost their best framing, which is the age, and they have to go down 5 pegs, basically.
So what are they going to be running TV ads saying, ooh, Kamala Harris, here's our conspiracy. She knew that Joe Biden was old, and now Joe Biden stepped down and she's young, which they're making the case for us. It's if that's the only argument that they have, we're going to blow them out of the water because, first of all, I don't think that's true. You can't say that Kamala Harris was hiding Joe Biden's age. Joe Biden's president. Joe Biden was delivering speeches every day.
Yep.
Joe Biden was talking to members of Congress. And so what? We're going to blame the vice president?
Yeah, it doesn't
for
make
the
sense.
Decisions of the president? That's not how that works.
I still think they're going to try to use the framing, though. I think that Republicans will.
They certainly are. And I think that another framing that they're going to try to use, and you open the show as this may be a concern, is I think it's going to get real racist and real misogynistic real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I'll say about that is it's going to be disgusting, it's going to be extreme, and it's going to be the worst thing you can be as a politician, which is weird. They're going to be weird.
True.
The attacks are going to be weird. And that's what voters hate.
Maybe that'll alienate some voters, some of these weird attacks. Really quickly, Daniel Shipman, thanks for the donation. Adam, I've loved your passion and informed advocacy of Biden, so I tuned in to see how you'd be reacting. I'm shocked that as big of a fan of Biden as you are, that you aren't saddened. Okay, so there's a few things going on at once here. If we take a step back, I am sad that Joe Biden's political career is coming to an end. He served 51 years, was it? And he served 51 years faithfully. He's done a great job, but I think the best job, better than anybody else. He's literally changed the course of this country for the better, but also I'm not sad in this moment because I think this opens up an opportunity to energize our base. Why would we spend time being sad about Joe Biden when we can immediately hit the ground running and start advocating for Kamala Harris and start trying to campaign for her? I think this also, in a roundabout way, helps protect Biden's legacy. So if Biden would have lost this election, his legacy would have totally been out the window. It would have been down the drain. But now it feels like did I say decade? I meant to say century. Now it feels like Biden is kind of protecting his legacy in a roundabout way. Let me read this new article. Thank you, Krista, for the donation. Let me read this article really quickly. It was written 2 days ago. Here's how Kamala Harris performs in polls against Donald Trump as Biden reportedly weighs leaving the race. VP Harris is the most likely replacement for President Biden if he drops out in 2024, which some top Democrats think could happen this weekend. Honestly, I didn't think it would happen. I was one of the doubters. I thought he was in to win it. She is performing about the same as Biden in head-to-head polls. A flurry of polls conducted in the wake of the June 27th presidential debate showed Harris performing roughly the same as Biden against Trump, who has been leading the president by a slim margin for months. And more recent polls after the attempted assassination show similar trends. So Harris is about performing the same as Biden, roughly the same. Harris has also polled better than other Democrats commonly floated as replacement candidates to Biden, but the polls didn't factor in how months of campaigning could change voters' perceptions of many of the lesser-known candidates that don't have the benefit of national name recognition like Harris does. So one of the main reasons Harris was polling ahead is because she had the name recognition. She had the ties to President Biden. A YouGov poll, margin error of 3.1, conducted on July 13th to 16th and released Tuesday, found Biden would lose to Trump 41% to 43%, while Harris would perform slightly worse, losing 39% to 44%. But again, this is after months of Biden campaigning and 0 months of Harris campaigning and prosecuting the case her own way, right? Harris hasn't really done this in her own way. Democratic polling firm Bendixson and Amandi found Harris beating the former president 42% to 41%. There we go. There is a poll of Harris beating Donald Trump, while Biden, Whitmer, and Newsom all trail Donald Trump. A YouGov poll conducted July 3rd to July 6th found more Democrats and independents who lean Democrat prefer Biden over Harris as the nominee, 47% to 32%, while 21% said they weren't sure. So this was, yeah.
Here's my thoughts on that.
While you say this, I'm going to go get water. Keep it down for 1 second. It'll take me 30 seconds. I'm listening.
Okay, cool. I'll hold it down. I'm not sure if anyone can see me. Okay, now they can on the stream. I guess I'm taking over the stream for a bit. Here are my thoughts on any polls that suggest that it's not going to make a huge difference whether it be President Biden or Vice President Harris. If President Biden is deciding to step down, it means he's seen polling that suggests she will do better. There is no way that President Biden would have stepped down if he didn't believe that Vice President Harris was a better choice. Not to necessarily, of course, I'm giving her my full support, but not necessarily to be president, but to defeat Donald Trump, which is the most important thing. He wouldn't have stepped down if that wasn't the case. So he sees polling that reveals that that is true. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I don't think that these polls right now are a fair representation of Kamala Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump. I think she will explode in polling. One, because she's a new, exciting, and young candidate. She's unifying, and because people, in my mind, can't really make a choice about something until it is like forced in front of them in politics. They can't decide, do I want to vote for? And that's why there's so many undecideds in like any Joe Biden, Donald Trump poll. Because unless you're faced with the reality of Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, I don't think any voter could actually make a fair assessment of where they'd land. And so now that this is actually the race, this is actually what's being presented in front of us, I think we see a ton of momentum shift. And on top of that, This is how Vice President Harris was perceived by voters. This is their opinion on her before about $1 billion to $2 billion will be spent in the next 107 days making the best case for her in the world. So this is her absolute low point. She can only go up from here. She can only make the case and bring in new voters and sway people against voting for Donald Trump, because this is just her starting point. And so now she has the opportunity to bring in new voters and to take away from Donald Trump, which I think she already is doing. And so I think that she can take people away from Donald Trump and she can get people off the couch, because as Adam said, this is going to be a turnout election. It's going to be incredibly important, energize this party. And I think that's exactly what she's doing. So any poll that suggests this isn't a huge change, how about we give it a week or two and then see after she goes up on television in Wisconsin, Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and then we can start to see the national polls as well, because I think those will completely reflect the change that's being made.
Absolutely. She also can in a unique way champion the legislation of the Biden-Harris administration in a way that President Biden honestly couldn't. People get mad at me when I say this, but President Biden just didn't have the ability to effectively campaign and, number one, prosecute the case against Donald Trump, but number two, actually make the case for his administration. He hasn't been able to do that. Also, I found a way to have both you and the articles on screen, so I'm going to keep reading some of these polls. A 5-through-8 analysis of polls found Harris's odds of winning the Electoral College over Trump are slightly better than Biden's. And to Jack's point, this is at the base level, slightly better than Biden's, and she hasn't even campaigned. Donation, Oopie Doopie, thank you, said, let's process the shock of our candidate dropping out today and mourn, but tomorrow let's seize the opportunity to defeat and repudiate the worst threat to our country. On delay, let's go. Honestly, starting today, starting right now, we are campaigning for Harris already. We are already campaigning for Harris. Still alive. Thank you for the donation. A YouGov poll conducted July 3rd. Oh, I already read that one. A Reuters Ipsos poll released on July 2nd found Harris would lose to Trump by 1 point. Biden tied Trump, while 4 governors who have been floated as potential Biden replacements, Whitmer, Newsom, Bashir, Pritzker, would all perform worse than both Biden and Harris. So to your point, Biden definitely has some information that shows that Harris would do better. He would not do that. He would not do it without that. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who is not among the Democrats commonly floated, would beat Trump by a slightly wider margin. That's kind of scary. There are polls showing that Clinton would beat Trump, but it kind of looks like Adam looks like he's living in Buffalo Bill's house. Someone earlier was like, it looks like you're trapped in...
Silence of the Lamb.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter. Quite frankly, the background is splendid. It is fantastic.
Don't have him over for dinner. Or he has his friends over for dinner. Someone said earlier, looks like I'm trapped in an attic. But no, we're going to decorate it. We're going to decorate it right when I get... Actually, I was walking out the door to go and decorate stuff from a thrift. I was going to go to the thrift shop and try to get like cool bookshelves. As I was walking out of the door, I get a notification, President Biden drops out. I sprint back up here. I'm like, we're going live. We're covering this.
Well, at least you weren't covered in sweat from
going on a run. No, you look fine though.
Oh man, my hair's a mess. It's
oh
okay.
My, this is so funny. This is so effing funny. Oh my gosh.
What?
Wolf Blitzer, this kind of is like what I was just saying. Wolf Blitzer posted 3 hours ago a tweet. He said, enjoying a Wolf Spritzer, like a spritzer drink, at the El Presidente restaurant. And somebody posts of him an hour later, and he's sitting on CNN like he's like a little bit buzzed. Like he does not want to be there right now. You can see it on stream. He's sitting on CNN staring into the camera. He's like, I do not want to be here right now. Just an hour ago, he was drinking a spritzer, enjoying himself. Then he gets thrown on CNN in front of millions of people. It's just kind of funny.
Is that what we should do? Brews and news?
Let's get a couple drink a little bit and...
Are you allowed to do that on stream?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. Who knows? It's okay.
If you literally just went like this, off camera, and like drank, you'd be fine. I don't know if Meidas would want me drunk on stream. I don't think Meidas is like, what are you doing, man?
Get a call from Ben in the middle of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing in Ben Meiselas.
He's yelling at me. Alex Cole said, Trump is too old to be president. Share if you agree. Actually, Biden's dropout tweet has like 600,000 likes, which is crazy. Wow. Bebe, thank you. $10 for your new background. I appreciate that. I'm about to go invest some money into the new background. Someone said earlier, here's $10 for a haircut. And I was like, am I supposed to be offended by that? Or thank you?
I get those comments all the time. It's okay.
And I was going to go get a haircut when I was walking outside the door. Brett
I
Meiselas
just
would
got
yell
my
at me.
haircut. It doesn't look like it, but
No, it looks nice and like it's like a clean pattern, whereas mine's kind of just like rough. It looks fine, whatever. But
That's great. Just like the background.
What if Biden went off the rails?
Be nice to Adam, chat. Everyone in the chat, say one nice thing about Adam, please.
Yeah, they're so mean to me. People on Twitter are so funny. Someone said you both have great hair. All the Gen Z boys have good hair, I feel like. What if Joe Biden tweeted like Donald Trump? He said, Adam, shifty shift, and crooked Nancy Pelosi wants me to drop out of the race and endorse crack sniffing Kamala. Let them hear this. I beat Trump. Yeah, is that racist? Let them hear this. I beat Trump in 2020, and I will do it again this year. Why is that repeat losers always try to tell me what to do? Someone said you have nice teeth. Adam is a sweetheart. Kind soul. Oh, they're all being so nice. Thank you, guys. A good heart.
Keep them coming, people.
Adam is the smartest, cutest, best host in the world. Thank you, guys.
Okay, well.
Some of you are, yeah.
What's that about? My chopped liver over here?
Adam is so much better than Jack. Oh, thank you, guys.
Did someone actually say that?
No one said that. No one said.
That'd be pretty funny.
Someone said you have. They're complimenting both of us.
No, they're not. They're complimenting you. I want to see more Adam compliments. He is sexy. Whoa, getting steamy in the chat. President
Bill Clinton, former president, said, "You are very charismatic." This is coming from a Gen Z autistic person. Thank you, Jasper Edwards. I appreciate that. I love when I have Gen Z people in chat because we're mobilizing our own generation. We're reaching out to those people. Someone said Jack has great hair. Let me read this Bill Clinton statement.
Someone said never watch Jack.
You will be soon. You will be soon. Let me drop the link in chat one more time.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Whoa, my whole monitor. What? Let me drop this link. But also, let me read this Bill Clinton statement.
Please do.
President Biden has capped his extraordinary career of service with a presidency that has lifted America out of an unprecedented pandemic, created millions of new jobs, rebuilt a battered economy, strengthened our democracy, and restored our standing in the world. By any measure, he has advanced our founders' charge to build a more perfect union and his own stated goal of restoring the soul of our nation. That is very true. It actually is kind of sad that President Biden's career in politics is coming to an end.
Yeah, but President Biden's career in politics is coming to an end in the same way that it began, which is selflessly.
True. Very good point.
And through a bit of personal struggle. When President Biden was elected to the Senate, and before he was even sworn in, his wife and daughter died in a fatal car crash, and his two young boys, Hunter and Beau, were seriously injured. And President Biden, while he was struggling with that, the tragic loss of his family, was called by President Nixon. He was called by several senators who he would be joining. And they said, Joe, take your time, figure this out, make the decision for yourself. But your state needs you to serve. They want you to serve. They sent you to the Senate to serve. And Joe Biden, while it was probably easy, as we all know, in difficult times, to kind of lock yourself in a room and feel sad and sorry, which I can't even imagine the loss. But he pushed through that. And because of it, he was an incredible senator, he was an incredible vice president, and he was an incredible president. And what Joe Biden has taught our country about unity and selflessness and care about your fellow man will resonate forever. It won't end at these 4 years. And President Biden will now go down in history as the greatest one-term president ever. And when Vice President Harris wins, he will have ushered in a new generation, one that is more passionate about protecting our democracy, more passionate about protecting our fundamental freedoms, more passionate about moving this country forward, more passionate about being engaged in politics. And it will be because of him, and it will be because he always fought, and it will be because he always made the right decision, even when it was hard. And so that's the message, that's the lesson, that's what President Biden's career in politics was. It wasn't today of him dropping out. It was the combination of all of those things together.
Yep, very true. Someone in chat said he really is the GOAT, and that's very true. Someone said, dang, I'm going to cry. Yeah, you're giving a tearjerker speech.
Yeah, I know.
To finish Bill Clinton's statement, because I forgot that he endorses Kamala at the end, he said, "We join millions of Americans in thanking President Biden for all he has accomplished, standing up for America time and time again, with his North Star always being what's best for the country." True. "We are honored to have the president to join the president in endorsing Vice President Harris, and will do whatever we can to support her. We've lived through many ups and downs, but nothing has made us more worried for our country than the threat posed by a second Trump term. He has promised to be a dictator on day one, and the recent ruling by his servile Supreme Court, which will only embolden him to further shred the Constitution. Now is the time to support Kamala Harris and fight with everything we've got to elect her. America's future depends on it. Here's a tweet that says, "The prosecutor versus the convict. What an interesting juxtaposition for 2024. Donald Trump Jr. said Cokie had thoughts. Rick Wilson said Cokie had thoughts, and it's Donald Trump Jr. who said, Kamala Harris owns the entire left-wing policy record of Joe Biden. The only difference is that she is even more liberal and less competent than Joe. They're already trying to use this framing of she's a radical leftist.
I think that's funny. She owns the record of President Biden. What success?
Yeah, literally the most successful record out of any presidential history.
And it's funny, President Biden has obviously been tremendously successful. And then remind me if I lose my train of thought to circle back on the Supreme Court. President Biden has obviously been one of the most successful presidents in history and the most successful one-term president in history. Again, I'm going to hammer that home. But anyone who loves his record, we can say to them, she was there for every step of it. She was making sure that legislation was getting through the Senate and helping to craft it. And anyone who doesn't know enough about his record and the record of the administration, if we want to be a little dishonest, which I'm not advocating for, but if you want to, you could say, well, she was just VP. She had nothing to do with what was going on.
Yeah. All of the bad
policies. If someone doesn't
policies.
like Biden's record, you can make that case too.
She had nothing to do with all of the bad policies, but she helped with all the good policies.
She was all the good ones.
Yeah, she came up with all of those.
I wanted to say something. I keep taking over this stream and ranting. I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you to everyone in the comment section who is allowing me to ramble. I just need it right now.
It's super helpful, let me just say, because I would have been streaming for 5 hours by myself. So having someone else to jump in. So those 5-hour streams by myself are brutal. So it's so nice having someone to bounce off of. If I want to go text my editor on the side, you can fill up the time while I'm doing that. So it's nice. So keep going.
I'm just doing sets in between. But it's funny, everyone in the chat, I'm speaking to y'all now, Adam and I do have hour-long conversations, and they are mostly me rambling, and he is an incredible listener. So obviously he's a great speaker, and y'all really enjoy his channel. I don't think a video of you just sitting going, yeah, you're right, but do that well for watch time on YouTube. But if y'all ever have the pleasure to meet Adam, he is an incredibly great listener and friend and very compassionate and caring about what is going on in your life. I just want to say that. So I appreciate you letting me speak.
Thank you. Jack's channel is Jack's channel is being spammed right now. All right, keep going. But
what was I going to say about the Supreme Court? And you mentioned that, or Bill Clinton mentioned that in his statement. We can't allow Donald Trump and the Supreme Court to let the Constitution be torn up. I've already heard a lot of people who are incredibly worried about what next steps look like. Mike Johnson obviously said that Republicans are putting forth a plan to prevent President Biden from not being able to be on the ballot. They want to put him on the ballot, even though he's saying he's not going to run. They want to prevent Kamala Harris from running. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh God, the Supreme Court, they're going to do this. They're going to make sure that Kamala Harris can't actually get the nomination. They're going to muck this all up because that's what they do. They attack our democracy. What a great argument for why Kamala Harris should be president. If she is elected for 4 years, she will win another 4 years. Are you telling me in 8 years, Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas won't at some point step down and she'll have an opportunity to flip this Supreme Court instead of being it being the most conservative ever? She could make a liberal Supreme Court that through her presidency could help rebuild this nation and reestablish the trust that we should have in that institution, and we haven't since Bush v. Gore. What an incredible argument that the Supreme Court is going to try to interfere in this election, and that's why we need to turn out at higher rates than ever and elect Kamala Harris to fix the Supreme Court. Let's play that I was about to say, let's play that video like it's on my channel. Let's play that video of her grilling Brett Kavanaugh. It's this is a person who is on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who knows about the Supreme Court because she is Laura, because she is a prosecutor, because she knows these things. She was an AG. And I think this is turning a bad thing, which is what this next 107 days is going to be about, turning the fear of what the Supreme Court could do in this election into a message about stopping the Supreme Court from being this conservative, democracy attacking, broken institution because Kamala Harris could help fix it. Just although this is a scary and uncertain time, and I know a lot of people in the chat said that they were nervous, and people in the chat, people watching, I am too, But every message of concern can also be turned into a message of why this election is so important, because if we are worried about the way that the Supreme Court could impact our life, shouldn't we want to take back our power over the Supreme Court? Shouldn't we want to fix our institutions that are broken by electing Kamala Harris? Hell yeah, I do. I certainly do. And I really hope you all do as well.
Very well said. I totally agree. Wait a minute. Let me see.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up.
Tristan Tate responded to my tweet.
Oh, gosh.
He said, "That's the bulletproof felon for you."
Who?
Thanks, Tristan Tate. I said something about Donald Trump, and he said, "That's the bulletproof felon for you."
Oh, is that a positive?
Christ. No, I don't think so. He's saying, Alan Lichtman is mistaken, or thank you, Travis, for the donation. Alan Lichtman is mistakenly arguing incumbency was a benefit to Biden. His popularity was bad because of, oh no, I didn't mean to delete this message. What the hell? Thank you for the donation. I read it, but I accidentally clicked delete. Very good. Yeah, let's get fired up, everybody. Charlie Kirk said, the Clintons just endorsed Kamala Harris. If Schumer, Pelosi, and Obama follow suit, we have a pretty clear answer as who the Democrat nominee will be. Well, yeah. Jack Posobiec said, they didn't push Biden out because he had dementia. They pushed him out because the American people found out about it. Understand this. Good one. That's the framing they're going to use.
Everyone, Adam was looking for tweets. I see Midas Cheryl, Jack Break, time for Adam to text.
Yeah, for real, yeah.
Adam was looking for things to talk about on his stream, which I need to stop taking over.
No. This is great. Donald Trump and his team must be freaking out right now. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to read that tweet. Someone said Donald Trump and his team are freaking out right now. They must be freaking out.
They should be. Janet Perkins, she just said in the chat, Jack, you can shout this out. I wanted to shout you out, Janet. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm responding to Tristan Tate.
What are you saying?
I was going to say something about, I think the framing we should always use when talking to Trump supporters is always bring it back to January 6th or the insurrection or the Browder Raffensperger. It's just so easy, the framing. Wait, Alan Lichtman just dropped a video. Let me play this.
Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. This has profound implications for my 13 keys to the White House prediction that's been right since 1984. The Democrats lose the incumbency key, but they could still preserve the contest key if the Democrats follow Biden's advice and unite behind Harris. Aside from the keys, history shows that since 1900, the White House party has never been reelected when it loses both the incumbency and the contest key. But they have at least an equal chance if they preserve the contest key.
Interesting from Alan Lichtman. Here's Jack's channel. Someone just asked for it.
Thank you.
Alan Lichtman.
Someone said F your keys.
Honestly, I go back and forth between thinking the keys are useful. Sometimes I think they're really binary and you can't predict an election based off keys that you came up with in the 90s but also it is a pretty good way of looking at it. I don't know. I go back and forth. All right, let's keep going.
What do you want us to talk about? What should we discuss next?
I say we keep reading some of these breaking news articles. Let's see.
Please do. Here, I'm going to try to link my channel. I saw someone ask for it.
For some reason, other people can't drop links, but let me drop it one more time.
Okay.
2.7. That's how many points Trump leads Biden by, according to 538's polling average. This was about 2 days ago, compared to 0.7 points on June 28th, the day after the debate. So after the debate, Biden lost about 2 points.
And this is we're an incredibly polarized time. So the idea that the debate was going to shift everything by 10 points was just not the case. And so I think, these 2 3-point swings are still incredibly important, though. And that's why those 2 3-point differences between Vice President Kamala Harris, that we've already said that she's already at the lowest point she can be at and only can climb from here, is so incredibly important. Because remember, although President Biden dominated the popular vote in 2020 in Wisconsin and in Arizona and Nevada and Georgia and less so in Michigan and Pennsylvania, but still it was incredibly tight. And so those 1 or 2 points, those margins of error in polls are still incredibly important, because no matter what, this will be a tight election. You know, I could foresee Kamala Harris just absolutely dominating Donald Trump in a debate, making her case for the next 107 days and having a historic victory, winning North Carolina for the first time since President Obama, you know, making a real play, and maybe somewhere like Ohio potentially. But I definitely think that it's going to come down to a couple of tens of thousands of votes, maybe 100,000 at most in a few states, those battleground states. But I think she can win, and I think she can win dominantly. But even a dominant electoral college victory would still look like a few tens of thousands of votes in very key states, and that's why this is so important.
Somebody just faked this tweet. I don't know why they would fake it, because it's a really good tweet. It's a fake tweet. I checked. Kamala didn't actually tweet this, I don't think. It says, "I prosecuted sex offenders. Trump is one. I shut down for-profit college scams. He ran one. I held big banks accountable. He's owned by them. I'm not just prepared to take on Trump. I'm prepared to beat him." But it's a fake tweet. I just looked it up, and she didn't.
I don't.
Or it might be old. It might be old. If it's from 2020.
Yeah, not to direct people away from this, please watch this whole stream. But if you want to see that ad that she's referencing, what we talked about earlier, the ad that Meidas posted, is the most latest video on my channel. That resurfaced video from that ad, and that's what she was saying. And that ad also reminded me. She said, "I went after corrupt for-profit colleges." I completely forgot about Trump University and all of the students that it defrauded. And so I'm really glad that video is resurfacing. And again, after the stream, if y'all want to check it out, it's on my channel.
I'm going to play it one more time because it's so
really
good.
Great that that's reminding people.
I'm going to play this one more time because it's really good. It's 50 seconds. Yeah.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion.
I just linked the ad in chat because you guys kept asking earlier to link the ad in chat. There it is. It's not from MeidasTouch, but MeidasTouch just tweeted it out.
Shout out
MeidasTouch.
Drop a blue heart in the comments.
Yeah, that's what I always say. Blue heart.
Chat for MeidasTouch.
Yeah. Wild.
Can you do me one favor?
What's up?
Can you play the video of Kamala Harris saying, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?"
Yeah, I played that earlier. Someone in chat was really mad. They were like, "Adam, cut out the coconut shit. If you do that again, I'm leaving this stream." I was like, "Fine, I don't care."
Okay, well then don't do it. Sorry to anyone I upset with that.
I think
just love that video.
Most people like it. I think it's important that we memeify.
Think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
We're allowed to have fun. I want to exist in the context of all I live and what
Oh, the blue hearts are going wild. You guys are the best. Blue hearts.
I love this stream. Y'all are so nice.
It's so much
fun. I know some
Here's,
people were making some comments about me.
Here's
saying
the clip.
some stuff.
Dude, people are always, trust me.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Most of y'all are nice.
You exist in the context.
Oh, you just saw that. You just scrolled past the brat,
live and what
Charlie
came before you.
Kamala Harris.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
You blue hearters are the best in chat. No, trust me. Even my own fan base says stuff about me in chat. Someone said I don't get the meme. The whole meme is that out of context, it sounds absurd. If you watch the full context, it's a story from her mother, and it's actually like an Indian story that goes back, is what I've read in an article, that it actually is like a historical story, but she tells it sort of out of context, and it sounds kind of goofy. She laughs. Look how funny. It's just kind of funny, and it makes no sense. It's like, and it's memeable. Coconut tree. The coconut lady.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Someone said on TikTok one time, like I was scrolling through the other day, they were sitting next to their boyfriend, and they were like, "My boyfriend just asked me if I've ever heard of the coconut tree lady." And I was like, "Coconut tree lady? You mean our effing vice president?"
Our future president.
Someone said it's not that funny. Someone said it is funny. The duality, man. It's a good meme, guys. If we want Kamala to win, we need to make her more likable, and it's a funny meme. I'm going to replay this. I'm going to What's the Stanley Kubrick movie, The Clockwork Orange? I'm going to hold your guys' eyes open and play this until you like her.
You think you
It's
just
like,
fell out of a coconut
I
tree?
wish you could do this on stream. I'm sure you probably can. I don't know enough about this because you are the expert. But you know how on radio shows they'll have like a drop where they'll like hit a thing and it like some audio plays?
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could do that and like hit it. It just goes like, you think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Dude, why don't I get a soundboard? They do that on live
Yeah.
streams. People do soundboards. I should have a soundboard where it's like, you think you just fell out of a coconut? That'd be good. But people in chat would hate it. They'd be so mad. It's funny and meaningful.
It's meaningful to me.
What's the context? What was she talking about? It's a story that her mom used to say, or it's something her mom used to say to her.
But it came up because she was addressing a group. She was talking about young voters, like Adam and I, shout out, and maybe not understanding the type of time and commitment and work that has to be put in for progress, which I think we can all understand. Progress is hard fought and takes time. And so she was saying that there are a lot of freedoms that we won because we had to fight and it took a long time to fight, and we'll have to continue to do that. Although we'd love to move forward as rapidly as possible, sometimes you just have to fight the good fight and the hard fight. And so she was saying, you young people, you don't know that. Do you think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Yep.
It's like, no, like we've been fighting for a long time. And so that's the context, but it's funny.
Someone said, please don't share this. Taken out of context, it makes her sound goofy. Trust me, if you don't like me sharing this, it's all over the internet. It is all over. It is a meme, whether we like it or not, and I think we should play into it. I think we should absolutely make her, it makes her seem more likable and funny, as opposed to nobody knowing anything about her. Everyone's spamming coconut emojis.
Oh yeah, they are.
I think it's a good meme to have, as opposed to having nothing about her that's likable. There's also the other one where no, I don't mean that. I'm just saying, like, independent voters will not think she's likable, I feel like. And at least we want to memify her a bit. It helps.
Yeah. I think it helps. I think it's good.
I think she's quite likable, especially over the past few weeks. She's really stepped up and been super, super presidential and serious. She's been doing great. New general election poll from a few weeks ago. Yeah, like people are saying in chat, own the memes because they make her more likable. Harris is up 3 in an Ipsos poll with Trump from about a week ago. Someone said, any other good memes from Kamala? Yeah, there are some other good memes from Kamala.
There's lots of them.
Yeah.
And we love them all.
They're all great.
I'm going to... When you originally texted me about hopping in the stream, you said, let's do a 20-minute segment. And I now have maybe overstayed my welcome.
No, trust me.
So I'm going to hop off for a bit and just do a little bit of scrolling and see where everyone's at. But everyone in the comments, everyone in the stream, everyone in the chat, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Let me come in and hang out with y'all for a while. I had a lot of fun, and I hope to see y'all soon.
One last link to Jack's channel since he's dipping. If you want Jack's channel, this is going to be the last time I'm going to link it because it wouldn't make sense for me to link it after. But there it is. There it is. Thank you, MeidasTouch as well. Thank you for being here, Jack. You didn't overstay your welcome. It's awesome. Like, honestly, I was planning on doing an all-night live stream, so having anybody here to help pull some of the weight is helpful. I literally was able to go get water. I was able to go pee while you were talking, so...
I may come back later. We'll see.
Let me know.
We'll see if the chat wants me to.
They love
Actually,
you, yeah.
That'll be my... If I see people in the chat saying they want me to come back later, maybe I will. If you don't want me to come back, don't say it.
They absolutely do. They're all chill. But yeah, peace out. I'll be live for a while longer, so we'll chat.
I don't know how to leave. You may have to kick me.
Up top right, there's like an exit panel or something. It says like...
Let's see if I know how to do this. Oh, leave studio. All right.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Peace out. Hell yeah. Friend of the show, Jack Cocchiarella. Let me refix my... There we go. Cool. Easy enough. Donald Trump on Truth Social said, we started reading some of these, but we never ended up finishing. Oh yeah, everyone says come back, come back. Hell yeah. Good friend of the show. To continue on though, Donald Trump said a few things. Crooked Joe just got knocked out, so now I'll have to do it a 4th time. Jesus Christ. He said, Crooked Joe Biden is the worst president by far in the history of our nation. He has done everything possible to destroy our energy dominance, national security, southern border, international standing, and so much more. The absolute irony of him saying this. Oh yeah, Jack will come back. Let's go back to Twitter. Let's also read the CNN Biden drops out live. They do live updates, which are really helpful because as something breaks, for example, 2 minutes ago, urgent effort underway across Democratic Party to rally behind Harris. An urgent move is underway across the Democratic Party for elected officials, allied groups. Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I didn't realize the text was cut off. There we go. So they're trying to get everybody to rally behind Vice President Kamala Harris, people involved with the matter say, in hopes of keeping potential challengers at bay and strengthening her own pursuit of the nomination. This effort has been underway for days in the event that President Biden stepped aside and is expected to intensify in the coming hours. So they don't want anybody challenging VP Harris, and they don't want anybody, anybody challenging her or dissenting, basically. Party officials begin gaming out how Harris would play down ticket. I'm assuming one of the main reasons that President Biden dropped out. Well, okay, there are a few reasons. As Jack said earlier, partially it's because he has polling information that we're not privy to that shows that that Harris will do better. Number two, pressure from donors. Pressure from donors saying they would not donate to Biden's re-election campaign if he stays in the race. And number three, the effect of down ballot races. A lot of senators, a lot of representatives were saying there will be down ballot effects if President Biden stays in the race. So now it is nice to see it'll be nice to see what the down ballot effects will be. CNN poll of polls on a potential Harris-Trump matchup finds a close race and no clear leader. Okay. A CNN polling average of recent polls testing VP Harris against former President Donald Trump in the 2024 election found a close race with no clear leader. The CNN polls is an average of the 6 most recent nonpartisan national surveys of registered or likely voters that meet CNN standards and ask about a 2024 presidential general election between Harris and Trump. The poll of polls includes the results from the CBS YouGov poll conducted from July 16th to 18th. I'm not going to read all of these dates. Results show Trump holds 48% support in the average of 6 recent polls. So this is an aggregate of a bunch of polls. Yeah, without her campaigning. This is without her campaigning at all. Now she's going to be going out there prosecuting the case. Travis, thank you for the dono. It says, another meme, a reel of DJ remixing Kamala's Do Not Come message. Yep, that's a really funny one. I love that one. Polls are snapshots, not predictors. Please stop saying Jesus Christ's name in vain. Honestly, that's just how I talk. I use the words Jesus Christ a lot. I'm a 21-year-old, so like I can try not to say it, but I'm not going to censor how I actually talk. And it's not, I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal, but I'm sorry if you find it disrespectful. That does suck. Okay, so this aggregate of polls is the best way to go about it. It says, results show Trump holds 48% support in the average of 6 polls. Averaging 6 polls is better than having just one poll, while Harris holds 47%. Each poll was conducted after the CNN presidential debate last month. Yeah, Jesus has a sense of humor. Jesus would be a Harris supporter, and Jesus would be okay. Try Michael Cohen for some colorful language. Yeah, good one, Midas Lisa. Michael Cohen is wild with his language. It's funny. Someone in chat said, I agree with the aggregation. Yeah, so essentially, when you take one poll, it doesn't give you as accurate of a snapshot as when you aggregate 6 to 10 polls, you know? I've had a lot of people in chat. The only reason I read that is because I had a lot of people in chat saying, please stop saying Jesus Christ. But that's just how I talk. Also, Jesus was probably a lib. He would be like, hell yeah, you can use my name on a stream where we're pushing Kamala. Okay, so this is what I was reading. Party officials begin gaming out how Harris would play down ticket. Jesus' name is precious, someone said. Top Democratic and Republican officials are assessing the impact that Vice President Kamala Harris would have down ticket on congressional candidates across the country if she's the nominee, which it seems like she will be. Yep, Trump donated to Kamala Harris's campaign in 2011. Always remember, Trump donated to Harris in 2011. And next, polling showed Biden was well behind Senate and House candidates in tough races. The hit against Biden was pretty unique to him. People felt he was too old and therefore not up to the job, one senior Democratic source said. That's why we saw his numbers cratering compared to Democratic candidates. But Republicans say they will continue to tie unpopular aspects of Biden's administration to Harris and to Democrats down ticket. Yep, not everyone uses polls. Sorry, I was responding to a text. Harris makes direct fundraising appeal on social media after Biden drops out. Let's go look at Kamala Harris's official Twitter because I just want to see what she's been saying. We read some of them, but it's good to be updated. Wait, this isn't the right one. This is her VP Twitter. So Kamala Harris's Twitter says, on behalf of the American people, I thank Joe Biden for his extraordinary leadership as President of the United States for decades of service to this country. I am honored to have the President's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. Someone said big money won, saying like the donors won. I don't even think it's about that. I don't think it's about big money. I think the voters overwhelmingly wanted Biden to be replaced. That's what it seems like in polls, right? Also, guys, go join the Mockler subreddit. Let's see what people are saying. There's been some really interesting takes. Thank you, President Biden. Someone posted on my subreddit. Someone posted the Lego version of the next VP of the United States. Can we talk about what reality of life would be like for LGBTQ plus individuals? So we have people on my subreddit talking about strategy. We have people on my subreddit talking about the reality of living as a gay individual or lesbian individual under Project 2025. I urge you guys, all I ask is please go join the subreddit. It's really fun. We have about 1,500 people in there. I'm trying to get 2,000 deep state agents in the subreddit to talk politics. We talk Project 2025. We talk, we debate stuff. We talk about life under Trump if he won, which I don't think he will. He shouldn't. But yeah. Bro goes to Reddit for news. Field of Dreams. Are you joking right now? I am reading through a CNN breaking news update. I also have Forbes. I have the history. I have all of these breaking news tabs up of like AP News. I went to go plug my subreddit, and you're going to say that I get my news off of subreddit? So dishonest. When did I ever say I get my news off of subreddit? Thank you, Brian Shalito. Going through the stages of grief. Honestly, there should be no grief. It's sad. It's sad that President Biden's career ended, but this should excite people. Lib Jesus, hell yeah. Let's go back to this document that we were writing. I think this is a good reason to chill out, to not be so scared. So, just to recap. If you've been here for a while, we've recapped this a few times. I'm sorry, but here we go. Biden drops out. This is what we were kind of just updating it as we went, trying to gather everything. Biden will remain president, but is bowing out of the race. President Biden has officially endorsed VP Harris. VP Harris is the only one that can tap into the campaign's massive war chest. Pros. Some pros of Biden dropping out. VP Harris can successfully prosecute the case. The age attack is nullified. A new VP will allow us to appeal to different demographics. It could excite new young voters. MAGA has less time to build up dirt. There are so many reasons, and there are so many reasons for us to be excited. So yeah, no reason to be sad. You were sad for an hour, now you're getting excited. Yeah, that's a normal reaction. It's sad that President Biden's long career is coming to an end, but can we even win now? Yeah. I honestly think we might have a better chance of winning. We'll see how polls play out, but yeah. Guys, I know I said I was going to stream for a while, but I think I'm going to take a little break so I can go eat. I really have to go walk my dogs. My dogs need to be walked because I've been streaming for 3 hours. So let me go eat. Let me go take care of some stuff, and I'll be back later tonight, if not tomorrow. Either way, I should have a few videos going up. One last thing before the stream ends. Please go join the Mockler subreddit. It's great. Yep, I just got to go eat. I got to go walk my dog. We're all processing this. Yep. Dog doo-doo on Adam's floor. Good one. No, but I feel bad for him because we've been chilling for a while. Guys, if you enjoyed this stream, all that I ask you do is leave a like on this. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell on. Does everyone in chat have the notification bell on for my stuff? For example, when you go to a random, let's say I just go to AP's stream. Right here, when I click subscribe, there will be a bell. Who has notification bells on? Notification bells, yep. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. That's all that I ask. It helps support me. Thank you. Should be female president. Thank you, Nick. Hell yeah, all notifications. And if you guys are wondering, the best way you can support my channel is not even to donate to me. I'm not going to ask you guys to donate. It's when I upload a video, click the like button on that video and watch till the very end of the video. The way the YouTube algorithm works is that it rewards me. It boosts my videos. It boosts my channel when people watch till the end of the video. So rather than asking you guys to donate money, all I'm going to ask is that you donate your time by watching my videos. Are usually, the average is 8 minutes. So watch the rest of the 8-minute videos when I post them. Yeah, Brian Tyler Cohen says the same thing. Watch till the very end. That's more helpful to any donation. Yeah, donate your money to Democratic candidates. When you're donating to me, it's just your time. Please just watch my videos till the end and like them. But yeah, great to chat with you guys. I'm going to end the stream and go work and go take care of my dogs, but I'll be back later. Peace out, everyone.